How you doing, people? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't know if this is working or not. Who listened? Right, who have we got already? Before we go any further, Smooch, Wywood, Skellington, how the fuck do I say your name again? Aldrin, you've been here for a million years, can't even say your name. John O'Rex, Mr. Macon is in the chat, we'll get to that in a moment. Grumpy Navy Vet with a resub, thank you very much. Tony Silver is here, make sure you give her a shout out, of course, if you haven't watched the stream already, she just finished, go watch the VOD. And I can hear myself on Mike's thing, which is great. It's a good start, hopefully nobody else can. Right, Mr. Macon is here.
Yo!
Let me see what's going on with this light. I'm getting blocked in by something.
Uh-oh.
Can you? Thank you very much indeed for the sub. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Brilliant. Can everybody hear Mike? We'll find out in a moment. Everyone goes, oh my god, I can only hear Mike. Ryder, how you doing? Welcome
Blink
in.
once if yes and twice if no.
Yeah, nod really, really violently if it's a no. Dude, we're going to go into some of this, obviously, because stuff is changing inevitably. The inevitable change of MMORPGs. You expect it to happen. But how much of it did you expect? We'll start there.
Yeah. Yeah, how much did we expect? We knew going into it, they kind of had to hit it out of the park. 2025 was very much a transition year. They kind of had to hit it out of the park. In the balance, well, we'll talk about that.
We will. I mean, the only thing that I got confused with at the very beginning, because we've got a lot and stuff to go over, is the structure, not necessarily in the layout, but the wording. Because we had chapters, everybody understood that. That's a hype train, by the way. Blind Illusions, Platts, how you doing? Welcome in. I'm going to say hi to everyone as and when they do. But Ben, Tiffany, Skellington, DJ, welcome in. There's a sub, it's going to deafen me. We had chapters. We knew that they were going away for seasonal content, whatever the fuck that was supposed to mean, which we didn't fully understand to start with, but then it made sense along the way. Mm-hmm. We got a whole season for a whole year. Season of the Wormcoal. It was even called Season of the Wormcoal. It's a season. First one. I would like to beat around the bush, but I won't. They fired loads of people.
Yep.
Added some more devs. Changed some devs. Took some jobs away. Added some. All part and parcel of the development process, unfortunately, as far as game development is concerned, because people do go from one place to another occasionally, and then, unfortunately, bad things happen. But we knew things were going to be different. We expected Season 2. We're getting Season 0. As much as you love Xbox, that's very Xbox.
I don't know who thought that up.
So that's my main problem to start with, right? My main pain point is that it's chapters, okay, seasons, okay, Season 0. Hey, we just had one. No, we did, but we'll pretend we didn't. Because that was a transition.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, if this is a transition, where's the rest of it?
It doesn't even work with regard to calendars. That's why we don't have a year 0. We have a year 1. The entire first year is year 1. We don't have a 0th day of the week.
No.
We have the first day of the week. We don't have the 0th month. We have the first month. The first season is Season 1 throughout the entire first season. Season 0 just makes it sound like we're not sure.
Yeah, so Xbox, I'm doing it. Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox XS. What about 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
I'm not going to besmirch the platform you like, but the name don't make sense. So it's just kind of weird. I expected them to go, okay, right, we tried seasons for 1 year. We're going to continue with that, but we're changing the structure of it. Here's the first one of our new thing. I could have understood that. But calling it 0 was just fucking confusing. But they are reapproaching, overall, amongst other things, the way that they present their content. The first thing you can take from it, because people haven't quite picked that part up yet, is that the content is actually free.
Mm-hmm.
So, no season pass required. And this is where someone goes, but Battle Pass, we're getting there. Battle Pass is a thing that they're introducing to allow us to play the game and get unlockable stuff. Tamriel Tome is what they're going to call it. But, outside of that, even though you get one for free, you don't actually have to pay for new content. Yet. We don't know where that's going to go. And while ESO Plus still stays the same, they're slowly bleeding into moving stuff off of ESO Plus. Mm-hmm. So that has got its benefits towards the Battle Pass, which we'll go over a bit more later. But Orsinium, Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood, Imperial City are all going to go base game. So while they're not taking anything away from ESO Plus in terms of benefits, I mean, they kind of are, because if you were buying ESO Plus to play Imperial City, You don't need to anymore. I mean, as a free model eventually, moving stuff off of there and making ESO Plus and Battle Pass combined, maybe that's what they're aiming for, and it has to take time to do so. But it's a tricky one, and it's going to confuse people when we've now got 2 ways to pay.
Yep.
So the season model we just understood as well. It was like a chapter, but called season. Now it's digestible, but a change that quick after we just had one is going to confuse the fuck out of people.
It certainly makes it seem like they weren't entirely sure when they went to the seasonal model to begin with. It really makes it appear at least like they weren't sure.
Correct. The trouble is, when they first introduced it, obviously that was a tricky. They call the word transition. It was tricky transition. But I feel like they kind of sledgehammer threw this in on top of it. Like they didn't carefully say, right, we've obviously got to make a big change. We'll just slide in with what we've already started on and just re-explain it. They haven't. They just season 0. Make sense of it if you can.
Right.
Like, okay. I mean, there's some good stuff coming. We'll go over it. But the initial, this is what we're doing, we just got out of the stage where we had too much explained to us. We just got out of it. We had a year of it. We get it now. Let's make everything work. Okay, you're doing some class stuff. Great. Before anyone gets confused, this is not a negative stream. We're just talking about the realistic side of things.
No.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to do this stuff. And just looking at it in a comedic point of view sometimes.
Comedic
to say,
is also, it's an honest reaction. It's honest feedback. They stated they want feedback. Well, here's feedback.
Yeah. I'm gonna approach it in a podcasty manner, of course. My own feedback to Zos will be private. I don't share that. Because that's very, very in-depth. It's very concise about lots of different things that have to go on. So I don't share that publicly. That's not for me to strong-arm the community. But we are going to discuss what we've seen, because everyone's fucking doing it anyway. Night Market, what did you take from it? I
like the idea a lot. It sounds like it has a lot of potential if they can follow through with it. I like the fact that they said it was supposed to, it's designed, I don't know how they're going to do this. It's going to be interesting to see. Designed to be challenging.
Yeah.
So designed with groups in mind, but still accessible. That's going to be an interesting balancing act. I'm really interested to see how they pull that off. But we haven't had anything like that since original Craglorn.
This is true. That's a slight segue. We're going to move into that in a moment. I'm on the fence about it for a specific reason. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of having an instance kind of area where people don't have to fuck up the rest of the content. You don't have to mess with trials and break them. You have to break PvP or dungeons or overland or anything. Again, segue, we'll get to that. But at the same time, it feels like a way to apply PTS to all platforms.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It feels like a PTS zone.
It feels experimental, yeah.
Which is, one, actually half of what console players have been asking for, even though it wasn't necessarily possible. And two, kind of an early look at what might be to come, which does allow for a small bit of transparency. Because some of the stuff before is like, hey, there's new the whole stream was like that, to be fair. It was like, hey, there's some new stuff. Okay, can we see it? No. Oh, right. Okay. Well, the Night Market might be our kind of insight into that. It's like, well, we can't tell you exactly what we're working on, but here's a new enemy, go beat it up. Like, oh, right. Okay, fair enough. So there's a plus and a negative to it, but we'll see. I don't know.
I'm interested that it's supposed to be effectively like it's not permanent in the sense that there's
thank you very much, Ryan.
Seasons within seasons. It's like they'll have it for a few months and then not, which cool.
Yep. I mean, how long would you spend on that instead of other content though? Too much.
I have to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we'll use Vengeance campaign.
Let me just
as an example. Vengeance.
Hopes. Yeah, right.
I mean, that's experimental.
I have high hopes for it, but that's all they are at this point because we don't know. We saw.
That's true.
We saw a clip that they showed, but we really don't know. Is that going to be part of PTS?
Should be.
It's going to be in PTS?
As far as I know. I could be wrong there, but as far as I know, it should be. Bruno with the subs, thank you very much. Massively appreciate being cake in the chat. Thank you for the gift of subs. I'm going to press the Dragonborn button, Mike. It's going to deafen you. So, we segued over slightly, because your Vengeance campaign is obviously your experimental stuff for the future. The Night Market stuff is the PvE experimental stuff for the future, which is basically like PvE Vengeance, if you like. Event tickets. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be able to take part in Time Real Times and get new currency so that you can buy stuff at the Gold Coast Bazaar. And I'm going to lean into this. It's going to have stuff that you can unlock, stuff that you can buy, just like in normal events and stuff. And there's no cap on them. You don't have to cap on the currency, which is nice. No more Crown Store stuff, which is also nice. But this is where the audience will be split right down the middle. Some of the stuff is from limited only, where if you were there, you got it. If you weren't, you won't. You will be able to get stuff that you missed. I'm so on the fence about that one because, well, selfishly, I'm like, I can get that thing. Honestly, if you were there to get a limited time only thing, your bonus there, your flex is I was there.
That's the entire purpose.
Takes the flex away.
Yeah, it does introduce FOMO into a game that doesn't really have FOMO, but it's very mild FOMO. And quite frankly, I mean, this is one of the things that if you're grinding in an MMO, you grind for. You grind for that. You can only get it during this window. You grind for it to have that. And you know, as you kind of pointed out, it's for bragging rights and whatnot. I'm not like upset about it, but I look at it and go, well, I don't know about that decision.
The whole system's going to be like it too, because if it's season, here's the stuff in that season, here's the stuff in that season. Although you can go backwards and get other stuff that you kind of missed to some extent, there are going to be things that aren't active now, if you're in the future, that was then. For example, the Night Market, which has got its own rewards, bonuses, etc., etc. That's not going to be there 100% of the time. That's going to come and go as and when they please. So the gameplay itself, obviously, you can miss it. But there are rewards in there that you won't be able to access in your free time because that would have been gone. You see what I mean? There is FOMO
like
being introduced.
Mentioned, it's like everybody is able to get the beta monkey now. Like for instance, we don't know that that's going to be coming, but it'd be that kind of a thing. Well, the beta monkey is supposed to be a badge saying, "I was there."
Correct. Exactly. I do think they're crossing the line a little bit with some of the exclusivity stuff being reintroduced because that was kind of the point. On that, slide off of that subject a little bit, we did accidentally say the word overland, so we'll go down the page and look at that. I'm going to be honest here, before we go any further, we don't know what that means yet. We haven't seen it, okay? Nope. So it says, challenge difficulty increase, and I know full well that there are going to be specific relative rewards to the difficulty you choose. So it's going to be you increase it, you get better stuff. Better stuff. What does that mean? That's the problem. Yeah. That is what that was my problem with the reveal, is because it didn't feel like much of a reveal, more about a talk about what could be revealed later. Does that make sense?
Yes, it felt like a meeting to plan the future meeting.
Correct. It's not that any of the potential ideas are necessarily innately bad. It's just that we didn't really get actual proper visuals or explanation as to what is going on per phase. Now, I understand they've got a lot to talk about, but I do think they should have focused much more on the first season rather than a massive overview of it all. Showing some of it.
Zero season.
Yeah. Having it on a list and saying this is for later is fine, but I think they should have focused more heavily on maybe a demonstration or so about what they intend to do with the overland stuff. They did touch Time Real Times quite a bit, but the Night Market, they could have demonstrated the factions, maybe some inventory lists of what to expect, of what you can unlock, and all that kind of stuff. I don't feel that was necessarily pushed enough for us to see and be excited about it, rather than
I
just
hope they do another
speculate.
reveal, basically, where they do go over that.
Me too. Now, the PTS is soon. That's the only saving grace this year, apart from console players won't be able to see it unless they watch streams, is last year, the wait was long. Really long. The mid-patch blues hit fucking hard. I do this all the time. You do this all the time. Dude, sometimes I couldn't be bothered to fucking play it. Just because, not because there's anything bad with the game, but because I was waiting so much for this thing that I just
when you see
didn't know when it was going to happen.
Is coming and you don't have it yet, you're
it's
like,
all you want.
I want it.
Yeah, 100%. So, there are many people over time that have asked for difficulty changes in Overland. Now, I've always said make Craglorn great again because that was arguably one of the best zones in the game when it was in its prime. The content is still there and it's still fantastic. If you've ever got a chance to play it, people, just go and check out the Craglorn stuff. The individual delves are banging. They're some of the best content, instance-wise, you'll ever see. Improving the difficulty of all the content, all the Overland, obviously they're going to do that stage by stage. I would like to know more about what that covers. The PTS hopefully does cover it, and it should do, because that's in the seasons, but Update 49 is coming soon. What is your take about it? Let's speculate and bullshit about what you expect.
Well, what I hope
that's all we can do.
Is that, first of all, I hope that it's going to be optional, so that, because one of the hallmarks of ESO that makes it unique, and I hope that they don't move away from that too much, one of the things that makes it unique is that ever since 1 Tamriel, the point has been maximum accessibility.
Correct.
So Overland moved away from being, the content that you would go to for challenge, and it became effectively a placeholder for the story and for social and exploration and whatnot. If you wanted challenge, you actually engaged the content that was intended to be challenged. You'd engage the arenas, you'd engage the dungeons, you'd engage the trials, you'd engage PvP. I'm perfectly fine. I'm extremely fine. Much like you, if they increase, well, not if, when they increase the Overland difficulty, even if it's optional, I'm going to be playing the increased difficulty.
Oh, 100%.
It's more rewarding and challenging. But what I'm hoping they do is, first of all, they make it optional. But second of all, like you mentioned, what does that mean? Just increase the health and the damage of all the bad guys?
More mechanics, or are they going to introduce mild incursions where certain areas spawn certain enemies based on time? I would
love that.
Me too. Because we've got them in normal Overland. They're just shit.
Right.
The Daedric ones in Oridon. You see a spider come down with 2 minions, and that's it.
Challenging stuff.
Yeah.
That, like what you would have in other games, you'd have, and even in the more traditional MMOs like EverQuest and whatnot, you'd have a boss appear that takes the map to deal with.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not something that you're going to you cannot solo. No matter how OP your mommy tells you are, you're not going to be able to solo it. That kind of stuff, that's what I
would like to see that.
That's on a wish list.
Yeah, because here's the thing. When we've got the basic Overland, you can't suddenly introduce a boss that's got 300 million health and can wipe out 50 people, because it just wouldn't make any sense lining up with how the game is. Introducing change of difficulty would allow for stuff like that, and they could delve into some of the more linear-based designs that kind of coincide with the horizontal progression that we've got. So we could still play as the Elder Scrolls players, being able to play with absolutely everyone, but we can then introduce some scaling or much more difficult, you need this or this, otherwise you can't do it type stuff. Especially where you said EverQuest, like Roman dragons and stuff they used to have, which had 7-day timers. Like you just look all day long to see if you can find it, and all of a sudden, as soon as that spawned, the whole server goes nuts because they want to go kill it. They do have the freedom to now introduce that kind of stuff. I mean, generally speaking, their normal versus vet is relatively close to each other. They're normally almost the same, apart from a couple of mechanics or more health, more damage. I'm hoping it's not just a like for like. I'm hoping it's not just a switch and that's it.
Right.
What you've said about the potential Roman stuff or even incursion type stuff, that would be very interesting if they can revitalize those zones in order to do something like that for people that do want the challenge. I understand that people want to play stuff solo, but first and foremost, it is an MMORPG. So I'm not against them encouraging the need for group stuff. But if they turn it into a difficulty level that isn't enough, and you say, I don't know, we'll call it the 1%, even though that's a trendy term, can effectively, easily solo that stuff, then we go backwards to square one where it's too easy, we need it more difficult.
Right.
So they've got to balance that correctly to the point where you basically can't solo it.
Yeah,
and not through lazy mechanics either.
Again, part of the wish list is more that they do more than just increase the health, increase the damage, but introduce mechanics.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to lose
the fights.
I might lose your camera. Hopefully not. No, you're still there. It's working. Can you believe it?
Oh, I'm here.
Brilliant. They'll still have the quest and stuff there as well, I assume. They haven't fully gone like way into details regarding that, which was, again, what I took away from the show. That is something that you would normally expect them to go a bit more into. As far as we know right now, it's a Switch, but there are improved rewards. So It's been a long time coming, but they need to add Perfected to Overland stuff. And as well to dungeon stuff. So, to make the gear consistent. Now, I've mentioned this to Zos many times before. Who knows what they're going to do in the future, especially with the new team. But the treasure chests, for example, and they're going to go on treasure maps, I believe. They're going to alter that too. Mm-hmm. Google already tells you where they all are, so I don't know how that's going to work. But the loot system... And we
all have add-ons now.
Right, exactly. But the loot system, for example, for chests. There are 4 qualities of chest. They should be green, blue, purple, gold. You have 4 qualities of gear. Why are you not doing that? So... are they possibly going to delve into that kind of stuff for the sake of consistency? Are they going to get perfected in other versions of gear? And would they, and this is just skepticism, not skepticism, this is just speculation and bullshit, by the way, would they approach the crafted sets to enhance their stats if you were to make them or farm them or do whatever you had to do in a higher difficulty area?
Oh, I like that.
Because they could up the crafting stuff and effectively double it by adding perfected versions of it.
And if they do it where you only get that bonus if you actually craft it in the zone that the station is in, it encourages people to get out in the world.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. I
like that idea.
I'm looking forward to the PTS, but it's, again, my issue is it's very, very vague. We are left to wonder, which is I mean, imagination is fine to some extent, but I wanted to see, I'm going to be honest, I wanted to see a fucking trailer. I wanted to see a cinematic trailer because regardless of how many people think I'm now sticking my head up Zos's ass, their trailers are banging. Mm-hmm. They are really, really fucking good. One of the ones I remember the most, we were talking about in Patreon Discord today. I was actually there. Bit of a flex, by the way. Bethesda E3 2019. Elsewhere. Watching that cat hiss at a dragon on a screen bigger than my house was insane. We need a trailer for it. So Zos, if you listen, you probably are.
It made me want to get a Khajiit waifu.
Right? I mean, even last year, we had Season of the Worm Cult, and even now we're using Gold Road visuals, so I don't feel like they really did much there, because they normally have a new theme, as in sound and visual, and I feel like we're getting a lot of the same. Last year wasn't a full-on cinematic trailer either, not to the extent that we usually have. There's a lot of gameplay visuals. Right. Their trailers are really bloody good, and if they want to sell a story, that's the way to do it. I mean, I don't play Warcraft anymore. I have stopped playing that many, many years ago. But even though I don't like the game, I have to admit their visuals for their trailers,
they're banging.
Spot on. The movie needs a part 2, obviously, but the trailers are good.
I can't argue with that. I love that movie.
You can't hype an audience up anymore by giving them a fucking trailer and a new theme, and we didn't get it. So I'm slightly disappointed with that. I'm hoping that they can still introduce that before June kicks in, because that's normally the peak period where everyone gets the new stuff, especially since the trial has landed then. But yeah, we need a trailer. They might have a budget for the trailer this year under new leadership. They probably do. But I'm still going to point out we need it.
Oh, yeah.
So, Overland, I'm going to go ahead in the year, right? Because we're talking PvE.
Right.
Thank you for the sub. Solo dungeons.
You know, I'm hopeful for that.
I'm not.
I know.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not.
That's the wonderful thing about opinions. But like for me, it's an MMO. It's a massively multiplayer online game. Without question.
It is.
That said, I love, you know this, VMA, VD, or not.
Me
not
too.
VDSA, but VMA, VVH. I love the Infinite Archive, which I typically go into IA solo. Having that as an option, as long as it's not just, because what they mentioned was that it would allow a story mode for those that want to engage the story and not have to worry about people running ahead in douche canoes. The other thing is it would add other things, so its own unique rewards, but hopefully it would, to make it solo, make it, I don't know, it's in lieu of a new solo arena, which I hope they continue making those. They
need to update Infinite Archive and give us
I'm actually okay with that.
Do you know
I will try to solo dungeons anyway if they don't have mechanics that prevent you from soloing them. I'm interested to see how it's going to go, as long as it doesn't encourage, an atomization of the player base where people who prefer solo, that's pretty much what they.
That's my fear.
Laser-like focus on.
Yep. That's my fear. You're changing group content to allow it to be solo only, which in an MMO is very risky because people are introvert as fuck anyway. And when you're in a situation where people are scared to talk to people and they kind of have to get stuff done, that takes that away and it puts everyone in their own little bubble again. And I feel like everyone's going to be doing solo stuff while online, and there's going to be less communication with people, which makes the group stuff harder to do.
Or encourage it not for happening is like, for instance, when you run it on vet, you get the the monster helm.
Yeah.
Make it so you cannot get the monster helms.
I mean, that would be fair, but that won't last that long because I think people will complain. My issue isn't with the fact that people get to play solo stuff. My issue is that the game is a massively multiplayer online RPG, and it is supposed to have elements of solo and elements of group stuff. And I feel like if you take away the need for the group stuff, then the majority just won't. It's not to say that people shouldn't go for their achievements, but if you hand participation awards to everybody, then...
Yeah, don't want it to be a participation
That's the problem. I mean,
that's kind of like having solo PvP.
Yeah, it is exactly. My problem is it is designed to be group content. You're starting on a rather slippery slope and domino effect if you turn group content into solo, because how long until solo trial and how long until solo this and solo that? And it's really, really tricky to scale that long term. When you give too many people what they want more.
That's a very good point. You know, there's a balance between you do want to give the customer what they want, but the problem with that, and this is something that truly successful companies like Apple and other companies like that have learned a long time ago, is you give the customer what they want, but you understand the customer doesn't always know what they want. They think
that is exactly the way to put it. That is very, very true. This is something that lots of people don't necessarily understand. When you say give the people what they want, people don't know what they want. That is very true. And
as has been proven by other games.
Very true. And I mean, look at Bubbles, for example. Bubbles is one of the best changes that happened to one of that skill ever. Instead of casting once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, so in order to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 synergies, it just pop. It was brilliant. Resource management, ease of use, a lot, and it was petitioned against to get it removed.
Yep, I remember that.
I mean, people didn't know what they wanted because those people that complained still use it. So it's fucked up. But I'm not against people getting their own achievements. I'm not against people seeing the story and getting what they want from it and all the rest of it. I understand it's difficult to get into groups sometimes if you're scared and if you don't want to set your own up, and sometimes you don't want to argue with shit canoes, because you'll get them. There's nothing you can do about it. But I do think they're running a bit of a risk deliberately changing group-designed content to solo. I'm not 100% against it, but it is risky. However,
I'm interested to see, like everything else, I'm interested to see how they actually implement it.
My problem is, though, and you know this as well as the most of the audience, when it comes to scaling difficulty, that is a very subjective thing to try to consider when it comes to the player base skill, because they can go from here all the way to here. There's a broad, like very vast gap between what you would consider the average player, which likes to do solo stuff. Maybe they're quite good, maybe they're not, but they can still play stuff. And then the extreme, which can obviously do things much, much easier. And trying to find that balance between the two to say this is soloable, that's very difficult. There'd have to be quest level difficulty. And don't get me wrong, some of the most recent chapters, they're quite difficult. For a player that's not that experienced, they're quite rough. So they'd have to be very careful how they approach this. My only issue, if I say that I'm on the fence with the solo stuff because I think it's a risk, not necessarily hate it, it's a risk, that's all.
Right.
Why Moonhunter Keep and March of Sacrifices?
That was an interesting choice.
Why that one? Why that DLC?
That was an interesting choice.
I thought
the first one that would have come to my mind.
Banished Cells comes to mind for me, or Spindle Clutch. I thought those would be first because, or Fungal, because they're base and they're quite small. I mean, it's very early development as well, so they get to visit that particular structure, maybe just take it out and redo it. But Moonhunter and March of Sacrifices, we're talking like 4 major dungeon DLCs in or something. These play dungeons? No, they're not.
If they wanted to do a DLC dungeon first, why not the one that's like, you know, the Maelstrom Factory? Since
why not?
Maelstrom is solo, it would, you know...
If they're going to do DLCs, why not do the one that they just added to the base game, which is Imperial City?
Yeah.
I mean, they could start with that. I mean, we could be here all day about which one they should start with and have our favorites and everything, but honestly, I think they should have started at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because that's an unusual choice.
It was somewhat odd. It seems random, but again, I'm I'm very interested to see how they implement it.
Me too. I'm obviously going to take part in it. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, that opens up a massive, massive, massive section of the All About Mechanics series. So I'm not against it, but I do think it's a very risky thing to do, and I do think they have to be careful turning all group content into solo, because that changes it. They can basically turn off the servers and just let you have access to your own instance. They won't go that far, but still, that was my down the road worry. This was very, 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 very briefly glazed over, and they didn't give any information whatsoever, but they said high seas of Tamriel.
Yeah.
Naval battles.
Yeah.
So we're talking what, moving Cyrodiil? Like on a boat with ballistas and shit?
They didn't specify whether it was PvP or not, though, right?
No, they just chucked it in there.
Right. Well, kind of like how they just kind of offhand mentioned, oh, yes, and also crossplay. And then now we're going to talk about something else. And everybody else is like, whoa, 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 go back to that.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a reveal. Stop talking on the cipher and show us some visuals of what we're not going to see. Okay, got it. What, you missed it? Yeah, naval battles and crossplay. I mean, crossplay they've been talking about for a long time anyway. They know how difficult it is to do. We don't know how long it's going to take them to do, but it is on the horizon regardless. That's going to take a lot of work. That is going to take a metric fuck ton of hours and time and serious code, because they've got like 15 plus years worth of old code to mess with in order to make that happen when it wasn't intended in the first place. Trying to make a red guard pirate. Do you know what? I think
that's a good. They're trying to make a red guard for a pirate, since that wasn't, a navally themed.
They're leaning into Railjack from Warframe.
Yeah.
Where you have a separate mode where you can run around on your ship and then blow stuff up while you move it around.
I mean, I guess we have a house that's a moving ship.
Can you shoot from your house? Get out. Fuck no.
Yeah.
We have no idea what to expect from that one.
I think they're taking an idea from, what is it? RuneQuest or EverQuest? One of those two. It's RuneQuest.
For what?
Right? They have naval combat.
That would be that, yeah. EverQuest don't, as far as I know, unless it's recent.
Archage
did,
had naval combat.
Dude, that game was fantastic.
Yeah, until it wasn't.
Yep.
But again, depending on how this is going to be a theme throughout it. I'm interested to see how they implement it. I'm cautiously optimistic. Being an ex-Navy guy, I like the idea of naval combat.
We have not had a good pirate game in a very long time, and if anyone says Black Flag, you're banned. That is a long time ago, they don't count. So, we have had a good MMO that was a pirate game. It wasn't perfect, it was clunky as fuck, but it was really, really fun, and the systems in place were intuitive at least, and that was Pirates of the Burning Sea. That was for Sony Online Entertainment. They moved it to Daybreak eventually, and that was owned by somebody I can't remember. That was good. Black Flag, they did the pirate ships, yes, I know. And then they brought out, was it Skull and Bones recently?
Yeah.
Which I anticipated as a MMO of sorts, or a multiplayer game. Oh, mate.
That was a disappointment.
That sunk fucking quick.
A disappointment.
I love the idea of naval battles in any game, but they've got to get it right. It's a very big risk. They need to invest a lot of time into it. And here's the thing. If you backtrack through time in their development, I don't think you're wrong in mentioning that house. The moving scenery that you see outside of the docks and the moving house could have well been their very early prerequisites for making stuff move on the water.
I like the dungeon where you go walk underwater in a bubble and have underwater combat.
That's coming. You know that's coming. You're going to be jumping off the side and using your bubble to run along the bottom and pick up treasure chests. Shit like that. They work 2 years ahead of time usually, and I don't doubt that those things in the past were kind of leading up to this, and now the new team have kind of taken it and moving ahead with it. Seeing what they've started with and then finishing it off. We've got, as well as the high seas of Tamriel, which we know nothing about until the middle of the year, large-scale world events, which is glazed over. We don't know what's going on there, but that's in Skyrim, so dynamic storms, and multi-stage cooperative events and dynamic world events as well. This is another bit for confusion.
If that's part of the whole, overland difficulty thing, I'm very encouraged if it is, because I like that, especially when it says, multi-stage.
Yep.
World events. It's kind of like, and you know this, I'm not telling you anything, this is for the audience, but in other MMOs that have what are called meta events, not meta in the sense of the gear, but meta where an event starts an event chain. So like one encounter, if it succeeds, because it can fail, if it succeeds, it opens up the next stage, the next event, which opens up the next event, which opens up the next event, which culminates in this massive, difficult, usually mechanically challenging encounter that requires everybody pretty much on the map to help complete. I'm hoping that's what they're talking about.
Me too. That would be pretty cool. But throwing it out there like that and not even hoping to explain any of it, 90% of people would be sitting there, what, like dolmens?
Right.
They're not wrong, though, to think that, are they? They're not wrong because they don't know any different. We haven't been told anything. So when they say world events, well, we've got, what, like dolmens and shit?
I hope it's not that.
Volcanic fucking events in High Isle or whatever the fuck they're called. Vents?
I hope it's not that.
Me too, because we've already got those. And I hope they're not really small instance-based, like the Bastions or whatever the fuck they're called. They were Bastion-Nimics. I'm going to be honest, they're on my website. I've got guides for them and all sorts. They are fun encounters, of course, but they are not world events, and they confuse the fuck out of people. And most people don't do them because they don't know how to start them. Very easy to run up to a dolmen because you saw a chain fly out of the sky. When it comes to those, you've got to run around picking up bits and pieces to animate and start the bloody thing, and people just don't know.
It was a good idea. It was a very good idea because I personally love the Nimics.
They're fun in them, but who knows where they are?
I forgot that they were there.
Yep. That's the thing. It's not like you can just run into it.
Right.
So this highlights, especially with them using the word dynamic, because they're very specific with the words. I'm getting to words in a bit because there's an important one coming. The dynamic world events would underline that stuff is just going to generally happen as you're there, rather than having to trigger them, hopefully. But they'd have to do something quite dramatic in order to separate them from what we already see as the basic incursions, which we call them incursions. So dolmens and the Somerset ones, Bizzle Geysers and that kind of stuff. They're good, but people get bored of them quite quickly. These would have to be dramatic. And again, I would like them to push those, perhaps, like you said earlier, in the more difficult side of the overlands, rather than necessarily in the basic ones. Because if they've got the same thing in both, no one's going to do the bigger one. But they might. I will.
Unless there's reasons to.
Yeah.
Like difference in rewards and well,
that was their intention, but they didn't touch on what we would get.
Right.
So the average player would assume, if they heard that information, it would be, oh, same gear except X, Y, and Z extra. And again, because we aren't being told, we don't know. Wording. This is elephant in the room time. I might get in trouble for this. What's the acronym for the game?
The play your way.
You all heard me. You all heard me. You
ESO.
all heard. Thank you. I don't want to throw shit against the wall,
ESO?
but ESO is not how we say it. That's how newer players say it, and it's perfectly fine until they know different. But when the lead dev is saying it, that makes people's eyebrows went. That was cause for concern there.
Since, like, from the beginning.
You won't catch Rich or Matt saying that.
ESO, I just said ESO. Whenever the ESO team has done, talks,
as nitpicky as it is,
reveals, they said ESO.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls Online. They always emphasize the T, right? So TSO. When they're saying the acronym, it's always ESO or the Elder Scrolls Online, one of the two. But ESO is new player or someone that's not too sure. Now, I know that they've been in the development process or the team for a very long time, so they do know the difference, but I feel like their words are being pushed for them. I feel like... I know, obviously, that kind of scenario has to be relatively scripted, but I think there's too many trend terms being used at once that aren't necessarily from their own vocabulary, and I feel like that's vetted to keep up with certain things that have been said on social media. Like, the brunt of the newer player kind of... the bulk of the newer players obviously say ESO because they don't know any different, and the words viability, class identity, blah 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 blah, all the things that you could argue do or don't make sense. It sounds like words have been put into their mouth.
Yes.
When you sit there, and I put this on my website article today, people, if you haven't seen it, put website in the chat, have a little read. This isn't a slam at Zos, this is just saying what we see. When you use words like more builds will be viable, they're not words that are coming from your own mouth. Because if you understand the scale, the sheer scale of all the different possible variables that there are in this game to make a build, the billions of possibilities, the thousands of years it would take you to try absolutely everything to make sure you've got all the answers, you can't then say that builds will be more viable, because that underlines that there is a tunnel with those builds in it and they'll be better now. And you haven't considered the ones outside.
What I'm frankly a little concerned with is that's based on the way the
Constraints
game has been running and has been designed to this point.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like
I'm a little worried that, honestly, that they might be moving their design goalposts.
I feel like their design goalpost that you're underlining there is a shift into linear. Less choices. Still choices that are fun, but I think they're going to try and limit your choices. If you're going to outwardly say, as an absolute, more builds will be viable, but you haven't considered how many different billions of builds there could be, to be able to answer that with an absolute, it feels like you've already decided to squash down the constraints to not necessarily give us, I don't want to say less choices, even though that's technically true. I mean, give us a roadmap or a path that we're supposed to follow in terms of build viability, rather than try anything you like. Because the viability of something is down to the player's intention and capability. Mm-hmm. So you design something for an intention, and your capability decides whether you can use that or whether it is viable for its cause, right? Mm-hmm. So I make something for Maelstrom and it fails miserably. That's not viable for that setting, unless of course I'm shit at it. By definition, unless I'm shit at it, in which case it's my fault, not the build. But when it comes down to more builds, not skills, more builds will be viable. That's a very, very bold statement for something so vast as far as build diversity is concerned. And I didn't know how to take that.
I firmly believe, like you mentioned, the words are being fed to them, because that's a word. Well, first of all, it's misused, and you know this. Yep. It's a pet peeve of mine. It doesn't mean. I don't think it means what you think it means. You know, the word itself is capable of success. I've got the definition up right here. Capable of success or continuing effectiveness. Practicable. Synonym possible. That's what the word viable means. It doesn't mean the best, even if you say that as a category. It simply means, is it effective? Well, in ESO to this point, it's kind of difficult to throw together something, unless you're intentional at it. You're trying to prove a point and make your build as craptastical as possible. It's difficult. If you understand the game and you have a modicum of skill, it's difficult to put something together that isn't effective.
Very true.
Because the gear is not really the determining factor of your effectiveness in this game anyway.
No, your ability to follow mechanics.
People get so, especially newer players, they get so frustrated when they see builds that are billed as meta builds. They try to copy it. They copy it exactly the way it is on the build maker's website, and then they go out thinking they're going to be an avenging god of death striding the earth, and they get murked by a wolf.
Yeah.
In this game, your gear does not at all determine your success. Helps it, but does not determine.
You can use it as a tool. It's not a win button.
Right.
And enforcing that word viability on builds, whatever that broad statement means, it's either a very risky shot in the dark, or the future of the way that you can play is going to be condensed.
Yes.
And I feel like they're already doing that, which is the first balance pass, if you like, because they're hitting the DK, obviously, because they want to. We had 3 years worth of combat changes with a roadmap that we got to the end of, and now we're doing it again.
Yeah.
All right, they want to make things shiny because the Arcanist does look very fucking shiny. Let's face it. It's about time they update some of the visuals, but they're hitting some of the skills, and immediately they're hitting the two-handed weapon skill lines. Before we go any further than that, that does on the surface look like they're trying to convince you that two-hander belongs on a DK. But if you look a little deeper than that, you'll know that the Maelstrom weapon, the two-hander specifically with Stampede, changed quite some time ago to increase direct damage by 12%. Then they changed all of the beam skills, so Arcanist Beam, Jesus Beam, to make them direct damage. They introduced a direct damage set, which is Tideborn, alongside a channel set, which also supports direct damage channels, which is deadly. And all of those things combined, especially alongside Veluffy Mage and all that kind of stuff, stacks on top of lightning stuff, multiple different sources of direct damage from one weapon outside of all the sets that pushes it even more. So I feel like the two-hander skill line is being altered to, first of all, change Stampede dramatically, and secondly, make it so that particular weapon doesn't slot into just about absolutely fucking everything, so you feel like you're forced to use it or else.
Yep.
I think they've got a deeper problem, and the two-hander skill line is where that is lying.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And like, you know, as I said, I am concerned with some of the direction. And for me, and I think you even mentioned it when you first read the patch notes many moons ago, the change that they did with Warden and Ice staff.
Yeah, the the damage for ice. Damage with an ice staff. The Warden was given a passive that was, if you have an ice staff, you do more damage. They deliberately, directly tied a weapon to a class, which separates from the play your own way. Yeah.
All of the previous, you know, the design, the design Bible that they'd been working with from pretty much day one.
Agreed.
That was a little concerning at the time. I'm worried that, like you point out, I'm worried that this is kind of going in the same route, but with everybody else.
Yeah. It's very tricky to see what's coming when they don't even tell us. Obviously, again, we're getting PTS quite early, which is nice, but the show itself didn't touch on too much about where we were going. Even the DK class stuff, which we saw a couple of visuals of, which was like 5 seconds worth of clip. Looks kind of cool. But there wasn't too much in the way of explanation as to what we should expect. Like the what's, the whys, and the hows. Because that's what people really want to know. They know DK changes are coming. They know we're getting PTS soon, so we'll find out what PTS patch notes then, which we normally do, I know. So that's when we find out. But if you're going to make an announcement like that, lead into that a little bit.
Right.
I don't think there was enough.
No. And to be fair, I mean, I guess they had, you know, limitations because they didn't want this to go like 6-7 hours. But at the same time, if you're going to mention it, give at least some details.
Yeah. I do feel
Otherwise,
like that was glazed
you're
over.
increasing confusion.
I do feel like it was glazed over. Positive note, and this is a plus and a minus for some people. Skill and attribute respecs.
Yeah.
Free. For free. We're in a position now where we probably don't need it because we've got the armory.
Right.
And you can swap anyway. But at the end of the day, I mean, quality of life as far as that's concerned, I don't think people are too worried about 3k gold most of the time, but it is going to speed things up a bit, so you don't have to keep going backwards and forwards to the shrine every time you want to change something on your build.
Right.
So the convenience of that is helpful. I do think it's a little late, though.
Yes.
Like, why did that take so long? Why did it take 10 years to get to that? I don't want to hindsight too much, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
that's... What the hell?
Yeah, it's very much a little late. And, you know, the whole thing of the respecs costing gold, it's not even that expensive, and it scales to how, you know, your level and how much gold you have anyway.
Yeah.
But it's intended to be a gold sink.
It is, but
there's nothing wrong with that in games, you know, have a currency sink. Maybe they're thinking, well, this is a quality of life, and I'm all for that, but also to free up more gold for people to be able to buy the mounts you're going to be able to get for gold. For instance.
That I like the segue there. There are new mounts being added to the store when you go and train up your horse. Now, what they've done there is they've changed. I've got some stuff here. It might be on a different screen, actually. Bear with me. Is the music even playing? Probably not. This should be their stream from the other day. All I want to do is see the screen here for this one. They are introducing more mounts to the store. So instead of the 4 horses or 3 horses, whatever there is now, you're going to be able to buy, I think, up to 16 horses that are from the Crown Store. They're going from the Crown Store into the merchant, the stable master. And they haven't really touched on what we're going to get, which, fair enough, we'll see on PTS or whatever, but here's a problem with adding stuff that you had before. If you're new, that is fantastic, right? And I fully support that. That's going to be great. If you're a brand new player, you can look at the stable and go, ooh, shiny horses. That's a good thing. But for the existing players that have been playing for 10 years now, not 1 year in a new game, 10 years, if there's stuff that's already been on the Crown Store and a large amount of people already have them, their feedback's not going to be very good.
Right.
That, again, is a risk that they obviously have been willing to take. But how important is that going to be for people that are consistently playing? Because it sounds like something very, very good. But if you do have the majority of them anyway, apart from maybe 1 or 2, you're going to feel like you've been given something that you can't use.
It definitely seems geared more towards, newer players that they're
Which is good.
anticipating coming in, which is a good thing. And
Yep.
and it will help, the people who either have not or cannot, or for whatever reason, get the mounts from Crown Store. I'm just, I don't know. That one seems, I'm welcome for it, but it also seems not fully thought through.
They are thinning out the Crown Store, though. There's a couple of comments at the moment I can see, which are correct. They that will take away the respec scrolls because you won't need them. And
Makes you wonder what's going to happen with the respec scrolls you have in your inventory.
Indeed. Then they're removing the Crown Store cures for Werewolf and Vampire. And Mimic Stones won't be there either. So there's a few things already going away. And if you consider the 16 horses or mounts, how many are going to come into that area in the future if they do go that way and enhance it or go further into it? And how much of the Crown Store is actually going to be left? Because the Battle Pass is actually consolidating a lot of what we already have, lots of different systems, including the Endeavor system. Now, they said 8K on the first one, right? 8K Endeavors over a 3-month period. Now, they haven't shown us the full extent of the upgrade or the premium and what you get from those rewards, but how much could you gain in Endeavors versus what you're going to be able to gain in Endeavors with the new system? Because I know that the reward you get is quite an impactful one. It's quite a large reward, and we don't know what the others are. But if they're not as much as before, you haven't really gained anything apart from consolidating where you get them from. You might end up with less, which means you still need to buy bloody crowns anyway. It's a really tricky one. It's not a bad idea to introduce it to the new system and give you more at once, because you don't feel like you have to be online every single day and just go over and over and over and over, Endeavor. But it'd be nice to know exactly how the other 2 versions of the Battle Pass works in order to see how much you'll get at the end of it, if you were to do that.
Right.
So the Crown Store is thinning out, but also so is ESO Plus, with the stuff moving over to the base game eventually. And the Battle Pass has removed a few UI things, which are good, but I feel like we didn't really need to be layered with Endeavors and Golden Pursuits and everything in the first place for them to just dump them all and chuck them into one space. The consolidation is good. It is a good idea, but I feel like it's going to confuse people very, very early on to have loads and loads of stuff that they're used to pressing already because they took so long to understand it, just magically disappear all of a sudden, and then they get scared by, and rightly so, the word Battle Pass, because that scares the shit out of people in any game. Unless they're prepared for it when they first buy it, which newer players obviously won't know any different. Existing players, obviously following last year's seasonal announcement, are going to be confused, and they're going to wonder what the fuck is going on. It's got positives in its actual system, like how it plays and how it consolidates and quality of life and all that kind of stuff. But it's also got big fear attached to it. It's going to confuse people.
Yes, there could have been
to explain it.
A lot more clarity.
Yes. Well, that's something they wanted to work on, wasn't it? Transparency and clarity. And I don't want to say too much, because it's not too much. I feel like it's not enough. I feel like there's lots of words and not enough explanation.
Yes.
But
yes,
that's the only way I can describe it. It's like, hey, well, we're going to tell you all this stuff is coming. Okay, what happens in this one? Oh, we can't tell you that. Okay, what happens if this happens? I can't tell you that. What happens with this? I can't.
Yeah, that's not a reveal.
That's not. There's not.
It's a teaser.
Correct. It's a spoiler. Fast amount training. Agree with it. Actually, we'll go back in order, right? So we've got 16 mounts coming to the Stable Master. If you're a new player, great. You don't know any different. There's some mounts, great. If you're an existing player that might have already got them in the first place, you might not get anything. And if you haven't got them, you might. So that's a tricky one. Vampire and Werewolves, the cure removing from the Crown Store. To be fair, that shouldn't be there anyway, because it's so bloody old. You can just go to the merchant and pay like 600 gold or whatever the fuck it is. I don't remember what it is now, but it's on a shrine guy anyway, so that I understand why that's being removed. But adding the starter quest for it, we'll have to see what happens there. But I don't think that system really needed to be changed. I understand that they want to make it fresh, but we've always had that lore version of finding vampires and werewolves alongside players being able to bite you. That was kind of the system. Changing it, they're trying to make it more accessible to players, but honestly, all you really need to do is shout out in local who can give me vampire, and you're done. We're at that point now, 10 years in, that it's not hard to find. No. Even a new player says, hey, I want vampire. One dude will go, yeah, 10k. Next dude beside him will bite you anyway for free.
Yep.
That's where we are now. Removes the immersion. It does. I understand having more shrines because maybe people can't find them. That's fair enough. But the vampire werewolf side of things is a tricky one. I don't think it's innately bad, but I do think it's kind of fluff that we don't really need to look at outside of just remove off Crown Store.
It's a move towards more quality life, which I'm all for, but you can have too much quality of life. And I know that sounds weird, but you can have too much quality of life. Like for instance, the horse training. I'm not against that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But even though it can, especially when you're first starting out, it can feel irritating that basically you're not going to have a fully leveled mount for about half a year. So, a little bit less than half a year, 120 days on the old way. The fact is that's still a grind. So it is. You want a grind in an MMO. You can have too much quality of life, and then everything is effectively handed to you.
Yeah.
And then what's the sense of accomplishment? Where's the urge to log in and play? If everything's handed to you, then I mean it's a cotton candy feel, like, yay, I got this, but then I didn't earn it, number one. Number two, now what?
If you didn't earn it,
what else do I go for?
Yeah. If you didn't earn it, you just log in and press a button and gain it. You're just collecting your stuff each day.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing anything.
It turns it into
and then it feels like a chore. Yeah, exactly. And then it feels like a chore, like, oh, I got to log on and get my stuff because otherwise I'll lose it. I mean, your FOMO's there, but then they're going to give you that shit back later anyway with the fucking bars. You're going to get it from the store. Same thing is Survival Gamer is one and done. Yeah, exactly. Mimic Stones. Fuck them. Goodbye. Yeah. They're wasting fucking time. You've got the outfit system since bloody Homestead or whatever it was. You don't fucking need Mimic Stones. You can have all the motifs on your character and you get the achievement for it. Who gives a shit?
Consistently is turning them into gems.
Yeah, I'm glad they're fucking gone. Here's the thing though, if Mimic Stones are no longer sold individually for crowns, are we still going to get those bastards from Procruti every time we get an Ouroboros crate? Because I don't want that cat to keep giving me Mimic Stones if they're going to be gone from the crown store. Just give me the fucking gems. Outfit tokens, they glazed over. It's in the same section. You're not going to get them from the actual crown store anymore. How we're going to get them, fuck knows. But they're going to allow us, I think this is in one of the other settings. I'll talk about it now anyway. Account-wide outfit slots.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we know. You see my point? Interesting. I'm hoping that would just be the amount that you've got on your account. You can just use on any of them. But it seems like you can share your character's fashion in one character to another. But what about if someone's bought 10 already on each character? Now, I know that's excessive, but some people have. Mike's done it, see? Now what about Mike? Poor Mike. Stones are great for writs. This is true. They are good for writs. But maybe they want you to have the motifs and encourage you to go get them. Because I think the Mimic Stones, on the Crown Store at least, are... Well, you don't need them because you got them from boxes. Coyote, I'm pretty sure you've got 4 Mimic Stones in a row once before. Anyone that says they haven't is a liar, or you didn't open your crates.
Or you converted them all to gems.
All that, yeah, all that. Bag and bank cost reduction. Reduce gold and crowns costs for upgrades.
Sure.
Why not? I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about that. Crown Store is getting smaller, the cost is down.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it is a gold sink, and now it's going to be less, and you're going to use less gold for... Well, no gold for respecs because it's not going to cost you anything. So you can put it all towards a new mount that you've already got. I'm joking. You can put it towards a new one that you don't. That's a quality of life increase, isn't it? I mean, it makes sense. Sure. Guild trade list and restore 30-day listing window. I'm going to be honest. You just reverted a thing there. That doesn't need an announcement. Put that in the PTS patch notes. You shouldn't have changed it in the first place. I'm glad it's back. Whoopie-doo. I'm not massively overhyped about that because I do think that that's meh in comparison to some of the more impactful stuff. Hide. Oh, you're going to love this one. Hide X. Fashion people in the chat. I know what you're thinking. We're all thinking the same fucking thing. You're now able to hide the chest, waist, legs, hands, and feet.
Naked character.
Naked characters. Everyone's going to be fucking naked. Every single fuckboy dude is going to be running around with a female with massive boobs and no clothes. Like you didn't do that already. Mike's doing it. See, already. The ultimate fuckboy. Oh, it's going to be full of it. Dude, it's bad enough in Gratwood already where people just stand there dancing naked, which is funny because it's what people did when the game first came out. Now they can do it geared. I can't say what that quality of life is. I mean,
naked without the Nordic
underpants forever.
Towel.
Oh, dear. I mean, that's what they asked for, isn't it? People try to get as naked as possible with their gear on, and now they're going to be able to.
Hey, so. I can't say I'm against that.
You do realize what's going to happen in Vengeance, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck's sake. It's going to be like Power Ranger putties just fucking running at you. You're like, oh, there's a Zerg coming over the hill, and all you can hear is and fucking loads of naked people.
In ESO.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. That's possibly the funniest update that we're getting. It's going to be fucking mad. I'm not against or for it. I just think, why? Why did you choose to do that now? And all the time that you've had to do that, why is now the time you're doing it? People are like, well, I don't know about the update. Well, you can be naked now. Okay, I'm playing.
I'm there.
Right. Respec and attribute ones we already did. Reduces friction to allow players to experiment with builds for free. Sure. Thank you for the farts. Upgrade bag in UI. Reduce friction and better inform player. So
I don't know what that is.
No one knows what that means. I'm assuming that will be tooltips, which is more people not reading stuff that they get prompted with. All right. I mean, I'm all for upgrading UI and all the rest of it. I mean, they've been doing that for quite a while now, but that's broad and incredibly vague at the same time. There's lots of different menus, and we don't know which ones they're fully doing. But they said bag in UI, but that could be all sorts of stuff because you've got slottables and gear itself. You've got all sorts. Zone guide improvements. Choose what to track versus just in order. That's fair enough. That should have come with it in the first place, but it's not a bad one. Again, these are vague because we haven't got full information. Longer antiquity lead times. I am still not happy with that. I'll be honest. I don't see the need for me to find something and have a timer on it. Doubling it doesn't make any difference. If I don't do it, I don't do it, and I still lose it. I found it. It's mine.
Unless it's a thing where they need it so that it clears out the queue so it doesn't overload the the databases and whatnot. People
I'm sure
have, like 5 bajillion leads. I'm
sure there is a system in place that does affect. I'm sure that is a technical issue, but looking at it as a game feature, I would prefer it if they could manage a way to just dump the fucking timers, because they certainly don't dump my crafting bag, and that has got fuck tons of stuff in it.
That's a good point.
And so is everybody else's.
It's a very good point.
So I don't think it needs a timer. Just dump it. Hey, you found a thing, but if you don't do it, it's going away. You don't want to enforce FOMO. You just did. You extended FOMO. You now made me really comfortable for a very long period of time and then panic because it's going to run out soon. Just dump it. I like the leads. I like the antiquities. It's a fucking good system. It's a lot of fun when you're hunting for treasure or for mythic items and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing bad about the system itself. It landed well. It is still good. But I do not think we need timers. So instead of doubling it and altering code and making it even more awkward and having to calculate even longer times now, just get rid. If you can. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that. I don't think there's any need for a timer to be there as gameplay
I
is
agree
concerned.
with that.
Quicker crafting and research.
Technical reason for it.
I think there is a technical reason. I mean, they could just echo that, couldn't they? They could just say it out loud. Like, we know that the timers suck, but technically we can't do that yet. Okay, fair enough. I'd be fine. But doubling it, just add an insult to injury. You're not really doing much. Quicker crafting and research. Lowers timers across the board.
Okay.
It's not really a role to be a master crafter. I spoke about this earlier in the house. And
that's fine, but the crafting it's a grind and a good one. It's and again,
you're specializing.
You want a grind in an MMO. It's people first of all, people complain about grind in ESO. You're obviously new to MMOs. Welcome to the genre.
Yep.
If you think that ESO's grind is at all onerous, you obviously have never played other MMOs.
I have a question. Let's take forever to level.
Again, you can quality of life the game into irrelevance.
Yep.
You want something to grind for. I'm fine, with the crafting stuff being cut down, as long as it's not cut down too much. But the sense of accomplishment that you get when you finally have everything researched and you're working on getting, the master crafter achievement and title, it'll be cheapened. I'm not upset. Whatever, it's fine. But I'm worried that there's a push to over QOL, over quality of life.
I don't think it was necessary to affect any systems with that right now. In comparison to all the other things that they looked at, I mean, some are a little bit dodgy and some are a little, did you really need to do that? I think this is in the, did you really need to do that? I think it's it's kind of fluffing the pillows. There's more important things to look at. And when it comes to this, and Tony already said this earlier as well, mastercrafting is something that you can do. It's not something that you can specialize in only and not do everything else. So you can do it with every other skill that you've got. Every character can do it. I mean, if everyone can get Mastercrafter quicker, then what's a Mastercrafter?
Right.
There's no need for people to shout out in local, as Tony said earlier, about, hey, can anyone make me this? Because the market is dead for it. I mean, it's at that point now because the game's 10 years old anyway. But I understand the progress speed for newer players. But then they're also not going to appreciate how long it takes to be a Mastercrafter. And there's not going to be any need for any Mastercrafters when everybody already is one.
I get Master Fisher by catching 5 fish.
I'm not doing that fucking achievement. Fuck that. My luck in that is so shit. I hate fishing in ESO just because my luck is shit. Nothing wrong with the system. I mean, it's fine. People enjoy it. But I'm going to hate it because I'm shit at it. I sat in Cold Harbor for 7 fucking days, burning the back of my eyes, trying to get one fish. And my pond is full of plants, sponges, dead fish, furniture, because I couldn't get that bastard fish. And it took me like 5 to 7 days to get it. One fish. And I had all the bonuses and passives and stuff that people expect me to use. It's fucking crazy. You're just lucky. I want that boat. I do want it, but I'm stubborn enough to not get it. Right, treasure maps. Reworked to improve user experience. Again, I do think this is... I'll have to see what they're doing because they didn't give us any information. This is where the speculation comes from. There's not enough information.
Right.
But I do feel like it's too little too late unless they do something special because Google already tells everyone everything they need to know.
And we have add-ons. Everyone has add-ons.
I used to like it when the game was first out, thinking, oh, I've been there before. I know that tree. And then you get there and you're, oh, I found it. Now, I'm sure there's many, many people that still do that. But with the accessibility of the internet and add-ons, I do feel like we're in a position now where treasure maps are kind of, if you're bored, you might have a go. And if you're in a hurry, you're just going to cheat. You're just going to look up where they are. And I have them on my website, just in case you needed them, by the way, people. I'm not mad at the quality of life or whatever they're intending to do with treasure maps. If they're going to revisit them and make them a bit more fun. But I do feel like their locations would have to be changed to a point where they are a lot more random rather than very specific because it's already out there. Like, hey, we changed treasure maps. Okay. Hey, go and find this one. Already know what it is. I've got a link here. Yeah, but go and find it. No, I don't need to. That's the danger. It's not a negative thing to approach, but I don't think, much like the crafting speed, I don't think that's something that they should consider a priority unless it is connected to another system. Now, looking at research, attribute points, treasure maps, antiquity leads, all those types of things, and bag UI as well, all of these will somehow interlock with each other in some code somewhere because they are all inventory based and they're all location based when it comes to the map, especially antiquities and treasure maps. So with that in mind, I do feel like this might be something that needs to be adjusted in order for the rest of them to work, and vice versa. But if it was just, hey, we're going to do this, and that's the only idea for it, the idea sucks.
Yeah.
That's the politest way I can put it. I don't need you to change treasure maps because everyone already knows where they are. But I do think that it might be lining up with the other stuff. If so, that makes sense. We'll just take it with the rest of the stuff. Speculation is good due to not being transparent. Wait a minute, right? Indeed. Fucking hell. Increased furnishing limits. New tiers, increasing limits on all non-notable ESO Plus users get extra.
Cool.
Not really much you can do with it, is there? Like, hey, we wanted housing space. We got some. Okay, now what you're going to do is say, I don't have enough.
Yes.
Because if you give people what they want too often, they then take. And now that is a positive to those houses. People are going to be able to use more stuff, whether it's tiny skulls or giant trees. But I don't think they're going to be happy. I think that Zos is like, hey, we give you this now. And someone's going to go, well, I need 20 more. Or I need 50 more. Or why don't you do this? And I think
human nature.
They're going to, yeah, it is human nature. They're going to struggle to please everybody with that one. There is going to be a lot of people that are happy that we're getting an increase, but non-notables and not enough is going to be let's call it the consensus for that one.
You already know that the people with notable houses are going to be questioning and pushing back as why not the notables.
Yes, because they tend to be the ones that
probably a database issue where that is a thing, but the arguments, well, you increased it for these, why not these?
So this is where the transparency side of things comes in. All of this stuff here, most of it is pretty good, and some of it is why. A lot of it seems to be based on their underlying systems and trying to make them work smoother, which is a good thing. But unfortunately, they're overselling the name of the quality of life rather than explaining why they're doing it. Mm-hmm. And this may be in the PTS patch notes, but if, again, you're going to release a reveal, then you should probably reveal some of that in more detail. This one, I do disagree with. Some people will be happy, but I do disagree with it. Increased transmute crystal limit. Delete
for those who have the
cap.
For those who have the paid battle pass.
So triple transmute limit caps now 1,500 for non-ESO Plus users and 3,000 for ESO Plus users. That is a lot of transmutes, but I'm with the PvP community here. If you actively play PvP and nothing but PvP, you've got multiple characters used as mules to hold all those locked boxes full of transmutes that you can't spend because you've got too many and there's a cap on it. There's no cap on collecting them, there's a cap on holding them as individual currency items. I do not believe we need that cap. Much like the duration double timer for the antiquities, I don't think this is necessary either. You mentioned earlier there's possibly a code issue, which is true, that might be the case. But if there isn't, just get rid of the fucking cap. We don't need it.
Yeah.
Let people who have got 5,000, 10,000 have that. And let's trade them.
Transmute crystals stackable.
Stackable and tradable. That way people that play transmute-based content all the time, what I mean by that is like lots of it come in, they can then make some money out of it. And the people that don't have time to chase transmutes could use their money to get that stuff off them. And then you interact with people to make your own trade. It's something that's been sitting there for ages and ages and ages. They've released or increased the cap multiple times now, and people still hit it and complain. It's gonna happen again. You're moving the goalpost.
Yep.
I don't see the need for the cap.
It's cotton candy. It's a temporary, shot in the arm, I guess, where for people are going to be happy about it. And again, I don't personally care one way or another, but then that immediately becomes the new normal, and it's like, well, why is the cap here?
Yeah, it's the same with the difficulty on the overland. Like there has to be balanced in such a way that people don't just get to that and that's the new normal, and then we're back to square one again. So 3,000. So there's going to be multiple people in the chat right now that are going to be like, hey, 3,000. So that character has now got 10 bag space because they can be eaten now, and that's it. It's not enough. I'm going to be honest. I'm glad they're approaching it, but I do think you should remove the cap, not increase it.
It's kind of like the cap on interactions with the fence.
Yes, which is dumb because that is a choice of playstyle, much like beating up dungeons that is uncapped, much like hunting treasure chests, which is uncapped, playing Cyrodiil PvP or Battlegrounds, which is uncapped. Everything is uncapped in the game when it comes to content style of play, anything that you want to do, except for that job, it's limited. Well, I disagree. There's more stuff on the floor. I can steal that. If you can repeat a dungeon and sell it to the merchant over and over and over and over and over and over, why is that merchant limited? Now, I understand in the base game, originally, that was for reasons. Now, for the sake of consistency, it doesn't make any sense anymore. But we're getting Thieves Guild stuff. So maybe some stuff comes with that because we're getting Sheogorath stuff and Thieves Guild stuff. Please give us Shiver and Isles.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Fast amount training. I'm going to be like this with most of the stuff. I'm going to be like this, like the balancing scales, because I want to know where the numbers came from.
Right.
Now you get 3 upgrades at a single stat at once, not 1. Okay? So it's 3 times faster. Brilliant. What made you come to the conclusion of 3? Because you got 60 points in each one. Honestly, I do think that this is a plus. It is. But I think the system needs to be approached a little differently. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at no timer whatsoever, increasing costs of gold per level, and if you've got enough gold to do it, you can do it. And if not, you can't. Furthermore, if they weren't going to do that and they kept the price the same for every single one, have it per mount.
Yep.
Because then if you go onto a new character, you've got that special mount that's really, really fast, or you've got the one that you want to use now that you have to level up again. There's other ways to balance that without putting a time cap on it. This is the same thing as the cap for crystals up above, is you're going to reach the same plateau where people are like, oh, I wish it was faster.
Right.
It should be based on how much gold you're willing to spend.
But again, I'm going to keep coming back to it. It's part of the grind.
It is, and we're going to meet that again.
To grind for. It's a reason. It's a reason to come into the game and do things. You can quality of life the game to the point that it is pointless to play.
Yeah, I think they're moving the goalpost on the mount training, and they should just per mount and cost gold. That way it's up to you. If you've got enough gold, you can train them quite quick, and if you haven't, then go grind and get gold. The time lock
I don't care one way or
puts pressure
another.
on players to have to log on all the time to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you feel like you're forced to log on, you'll log on less. If you feel like you've got freedom of choice and you don't have to be forced to do anything quickly, you'll log on more. Because you feel like you're having control of your time rather than having it dictated for you. And
logging in now has value to you.
There you go. Account-wide outfit slots. Well, we did touch on this earlier. Slots account-wide, appearance tied to character. Yep.
What I gather from that is that, when you buy an this is what I'm guessing. We don't know because we haven't seen it. And they were very transparent in not being transparent about what that means.
Indeed.
But that when you buy an outfit slot, that's for everyone. But
that's what it sounds like.
Each character has their own use of the outfit slot.
So
this character, when I make an outfit, it's not available for other characters, but the slot is, but not the contents of the slot. I don't know.
So it sounds like
that's how it sounds to me.
It sounds like if you bought 10, you've got 10 on your account.
Right.
But each character has their own unique one in that slot that you've got.
Yeah.
So if you brought 10 on one character now, Mike, and 10 on another character now, Mike, you're going to lose 10 slots.
I'm a whale.
Oh dear. Again, that's in the name of transparency, they've given us something that isn't explained. Not enough. Now, I understand, again, PTS patch notes could possibly highlight some of this when we get there, but at least give us a slight bit more information as to what that actually means rather than just making us guess all the time.
Right.
This is a good one, by the way, coming up. Ready for this? Guild name repping. For those that can't read it, players can now show their guild name without wearing a tabard.
Out that dadgum tabard.
Again, that is something that is affecting your inventory, which is what the middle line there is all about by the looks of it. That is something that should have been introduced in the game a very long time ago, but in the name of, oh my god, I shouldn't be listening to hindsight, because we're not going to do that today, I'm glad we're getting it.
Yeah.
I can sit there all day and go, you should have done it earlier, but let's face it, I'm not mad at that. You could do it already inside costumes, but you couldn't, outfits. That's wrong. Costumes, the first one. But you couldn't do it with outfits. It would put that shitty bard over you. Tabard even. And let's face it, that hasn't looked good since 2014.
Nope.
I'm not going to lie, it's shit. What they should do, and I mentioned this earlier actually within the house, is those banners we get from scribing? Let us put our guild banner on that. Or bring guild buffs. Like only one per trial, and you get to rotate through whichever ones you want to choose from. That's not a bad thing anyway. Being able to say the name of your guild without covering your fashion, making yourself look shit, or covering your naked body now that you can hide all that. Good job. Back bar experience. I don't want to hindsight. I really don't. But where was this 10 years ago?
Yeah.
About fucking
it's
time.
One of those. It's a quality of life that I'm for.
It is.
I mean, that's great. But yeah,
I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I do feel like these are things that should have been approached a very, very long time ago. So on one hand, there's a lot of, why did you bother? And on the other, it's like, well, about fucking time, but I'm deflated because it should have been there already. But it's not a bad thing. So the people that worry about their skill grinds and all that kind of stuff, especially with the new champion point node where you actually upgrade your XP from skills to like 15% extra, this is going to be so much quicker for you to get your characters ready. Free respecs and XP on the back bar. Don't need XP anymore. Well, that's your problem. It's just there's a lot of vague explanations to what the fuck is going on, but there's also a lot of stuff that should have been here before.
Right now, yeah. Ronaldo.
You watch them.
We don't know what's coming in the future.
You watch them increase the cap. That'd be fucking hilarious. They said they never would, but then it's not them anymore. Right. So we've gone over what to expect within the year, but ultimately the first patch we're going to get is update 49, which is on the 9th of March, on PTS on the 12th of January. Following that month, on the 2nd of April, is when we're going to get the Season 0 stuff. The update, as you can see there, though, that does cover the DK. So we'll get that first. But apart from some of the wording and apart from some of the vagueness when they said they wanted to be transparent, which they haven't been, what is your take overall? I'll be honest, mine isn't negative.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Overall, it's not fully what I'd hoped, but overall, I'm excited to see how it's implemented. That's the best way that I could put it. I'm very excited and interested to see how it's going to be implemented. There are things, in it that I can see a trajectory that may be heading towards that I'm not real thrilled with.
Yep.
But again, that's conjecture on my part. I'm interested to see how it's going to be implemented. That's where I'll put it. I like it for the most part, or at least I don't hate it. It's going to depend on execution.
It's very tricky because the wording in the show was, I would say, vetted, and not in a necessarily healthy manner, but it was, and it offers a bit of confusion as to how people have always spoken and always heard other people speak about ESO, and they feel like while they're shifting their focus as far as the game design is concerned, they're also changing the way they speak, and it's confusing people quite a bit. Like, anything you want, well, except for this, or anything you want except for this.
Anything that you want, as long as it's this, which
But we've got 3 classes coming this year, update-wise. Logic would dictate that would be all 4 for the next part, because if they do 3 months at a time per season, obviously we're getting the first one in April this year, not now. If they were to do 4 in the next year, we'd get 1 for each one, which is a tight schedule for them, considering how long it takes to update a class anyway. But we're looking at 2 years before the classes are done. They didn't say they wouldn't approach some of the classes along the way in case anything kind of did this
a cadence at this point.
and overlapped. But they're also updating the werewolf. They're making a female werewolf, which is apparently something that loads and loads of people asked for.
Great. And now we can make naked female werewolves.
We can make naked, fluffy werewolves. Visual and balance updates. Now, while we don't know anything about it, we won't know until PTS. And while I'm fine with them updating stuff like that, you know what's going to happen? The second that is going live, what about Vampire?
Right.
Always. It's the bounce off. Every single time. As soon as Werewolf gets update, everyone complain about Vampire. Every time Vampire gets update, everyone complains about fucking Werewolf. Please do both at the same fucking time and shut everyone up.
Right.
No. I'm not mad at fucking them updating it. I'm fine with that. But Jesus Christ, you know what's going to happen. Every single time is, what about this? And I do the same when I release a build video, right? I release a DK.
Yep. That's what I was thinking. Right.
Here's a build, right?
You got this build video. What about this other one?
What about the other one? It's been up for 2 seconds, and someone goes, "Yeah, what about the warden?" Like, you just completely dismissed weeks of work. You just dismissed weeks of fucking work. Like, what the fuck?
Hello, motherfucker.
And you get caught between 2 stools. Then the same as we are with this particular production or reveal is hello, motherfucker, to you as well. Is you're like on one side, I'm glad they're so excited for the other stuff, and then give me a fucking break. You can't win. And the same with this is like, well, you haven't really told us much, but also I kind of want it. It's a lot. But I do think their approach should be more focused on the very immediate future, and capitalize a lot more information-wise on that while vaguely going over the year, rather than kind of spreading it evenly information-wise where we don't really get anything.
Right. It was a teaser, not a reveal.
Agreed. The internet's going to go fucking mad. It already has. But the one thing I do want them to release before they release this seasonal update, and I'm sure most people in the audience are up with this as well, is a fucking trailer. It won't change the content at all, right? But we missed the trailer. We haven't got a new theme as far as the audio is concerned. And we always have an updated Elder Scrolls theme where it always sounds like Elder Scrolls, but it's just cooler. And we don't have any visual changes. This is still Gold Road in the background. Tell your people in the office that we need a new splash screen. Thank you very much. Just stuff like that. Just tiny little details like that would make this settle in a lot easier. The polish, yeah, exactly. If they opened this with like new theme and slight new tune and here's the new stuff for the next year and here's the trailer, that would have landed cleaner. Maybe they fired the orchestra too. I fucking hope not. Again, it's all speculation at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen until the PTS at least. But I do feel like they didn't necessarily deliver it as well as they usually do. Last year's announcement, I'll be honest, was pretty piss poor because we didn't know anything until July or June.
Yeah.
I knew a little earlier.
That was rough.
But even then, when they sent me the email saying subclassing as a title, I was like, oh! And then my brain was like, why didn't you tell us that in fucking January? That would have got mental. It did got mental when it happened, but it would have gone. It would have been less mid-patch blues.
That was a missed opportunity.
It was. That was a marketing fail. And that is what I feel they're risking right now. I feel like they are putting the money into developing the game for the future. I do feel like they are shifting their focus, obviously, to try lots of different new things. But I do think their budget has killed their production value. I don't feel like... Thank you for the sub. I don't feel like there's as much... It's not as much power behind it as there usually is.
Yeah.
And again, that is, for want of the... I don't even need to use a better term. You used it already. Polish. A bit of that, and this would be received a lot easier. It's fucking... It'll be interesting, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we got? Battle Pass. That's what we need to touch on before we do anything else. I've got a screenshot of it. Aren't I prepared? This stuff is this. Oh, no. We'll go Battle Pass first. Where have I gone? I did have it there. There we go. Battle Pass-like system to earn rewards. Fair enough. Everyone has access to a free tome. Progress through tiers or pages by completing weekly and seasonal in-game challenges, and each tier has multiple rewards to unlock items in each tier. The more you play, the more you earn. So they're allowing you to refresh this as well. So your challenges that are there, you can refresh it. Obviously, we know that short term that's going to cost you, but they're squashing loads of systems and putting them all in here instead. So Endeavors, Golden Pursuits, all that kind of stuff, as far as I know. That type of scattered task system is going to be put into one.
Yeah.
Mark JVVA, thank you very much. Which I don't think is a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
I've never liked battle passes. I think that's very much a Microsoftivization that's coming in. But when you explain it, that they're basically taking a lot of the existing systems and collating them into one, for me it assuages the sting.
Yeah.
If it's implemented correctly. I don't want Fortnite COD kind of a battle pass.
Nope.
Which I was, when I first heard rumblings of this thing, and I was very worried. And it's like, okay, Microsoft took over, and now Microsoft's going to Microsoft the Microsoft out of ZOS. But when taking the existing things, collating them into one, I'm fine with it. If it's implemented well, I'm fine with it.
The risk is the balance. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. Like the jump between free to paid to premium. I'm worried about that jump. Because they have to be very careful how they apply that before people start shouting that it's too expensive, because they are layering this on top of ESO Plus.
Yeah.
Now, there is a reward system involved in this if you play ESO Plus for long enough. If you pay ESO Plus for long enough, this is accumulatively over time. However many subs you have, they will add up to 12, and you'll get one season Battle Pass for free.
Yeah.
You know that thing called FOMO?
Yeah, yep.
That they don't want to happen?
Yes.
You're going to feel like you're going to miss out if you don't get your sub. Now, I know
that is
marketing-wise that works, but that also goes back on what you've said.
That's one of the reasons why I'm not at all a fan of the battle pass model, and I'm not for a variety of reasons, but that right there is a big one. If it's implemented well, okay. And so I'm reserving judgment. I mean, there have been games that have implemented it well. New World, by the way, screw you, Amazon Game System, Game Studio, but New World had a well implemented battle pass, and it sounds like they're kind of taking a cue from that, and I'm cautiously okay with it.
So,
but someone pointed out, I believe it was Red Dead Dovahkiin pointed out that it's layered, 2 layers. First of all, two layers of the battle pass. It's an interesting look. I'll put it that way, and it's layered on top of ESO Plus, so it's going to be you're going to be paying more overall.
I don't think marketing.
We get more for paying more, and it's not kind of like 2025 was, where we paid more to get less. I'm because like you and me, we're going to be throwing money at the screen 3 times.
Of course, 3 times. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, the fucking lot until the crossplay.
All 3 platforms, and I'm going to be doing it 5 times because I have extra accounts on PCNA and Xbox NA. I'm going to be throwing the credit card at the screen. Yeah. But it can be quite the ask for people that are not quite as.
Well, I understand where you're coming from.
You're addicted to this game, as we are. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, the problem is the grand scheme of things. You have to look at the broad scale of the audience. Like, how many people actually play the game? How many people use ESO Plus? And how many people are now confused that they have to pay twice? You just got told you're getting seasons for free, and now you've been told you can pay twice. Oh, but no, you still get Battle Pass. You still get it. It's just a better one. Everyone wants the better one. You know how that works. Obviously, that is part and parcel of marketing. I understand that. But if you are looking at
paying it,
yeah, of course. But if you throw at someone that is already spending enough money on games as it is, by the way, you're going to have to pay another thing for ESO Plus. You now got 2 bills out for the same company rather than like individual purchases. Just put it together, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Put it in one fucking payment. Even if they charge you £30 for the fucking 3 months or £40 for the 3 months, or just lay it on top, whatever. I mean, I'm sure people would be more happy with 3 tiers of different pricings that matched ESO Plus's timing, but still got the extra stuff on it. Bit more, I guess, because of the Battle Pass, but they'd be much more comfortable paying once than 2 separate ones. Because that just scares the shit out of people. Imagine, I don't know, you're 17, you're about to... Imagine you're going to university. You've got a tenner a month to play games. You've just got a part-time job. Fuck knows how much you're getting, but magically you can pay an extra £20 a month now towards your games if you're lucky. And you think, oh, maybe I can buy that crown pack, or maybe I can buy that. No, you can't, because you got to put it on Battle Pass. It's another pool of just income just flying out.
That's why I said Microsoftization, because they love their Battle Passes.
I'm not mad at Battle Passes as a model, but I think layering it on top of a system that we already have a monthly subscription for doesn't make sense as 2 separate entities, if you like, on your credit card. You need to make sure that this consolidates into one. So have
Unless it
ESO
has,
Plus
absolutely spectacular value.
Yeah.
Which so far I'm not seeing. I mean, again, we don't know, we don't see, but it's like, here's a couple extra goodies that you get, and I go, I'm not entirely sure. Again, I'm still going to pay it.
I would argue,
I'm not entirely sure that people who aren't me, are going to see it and say it. The way I like, for instance, Xbox, not Game Pass. Is it called Game Pass? I think it's Game Pass. Xbox, whatever it is. When they increased, they just up and said, "Oh, by the way, we're doubling the price."
Yeah. PlayStation
I cut it down to the bare minimum. I was like, no, I'm not getting enough added value for this, and I think that's a danger here.
Yeah, I think instead of ESO Plus and Battle Pass completely separate, I mean, ESO Plus gives you... Yeah, combine it. So ESO Plus with no Battle Pass gives you a free time, apparently. Right? The second version of Battle Pass, your second payment now is better. And your third one is even more better than that. So how about base game owners that don't play ESO Plus, they don't pay for it, get a free time? Stage 2 is ESO Plus, and that's upgraded with a Battle Pass. And number 3 is ESO Plus the premium. That way they can line it in. So you've got one that is free, the free time, one that is ESO Plus with a little bit more, and then the special ESO Plus, which is the big one. That way it's one payment and you get to decide which tier you have.
Confusing for people.
Yeah, instead of this plus this tier, plus have you got the base game, have you got the chapters, does it come in ESO Plus? Is that coming off of ESO Plus onto the base game? Do I need it? And it's all over the place. It's mad. Break it down per month is £2.50 extra. Yeah, but some people don't have £2.50 extra. It's going to confuse people. Some people only pay for ESO Plus maybe for 1 month of the year. Some people do it the whole year. Some people don't do it at all. And when it comes to Battle Pass on top of that, sure, they will sell it. It will make a lot of money for them, sure, which means development can continue. But I do think they have to be careful on confusing people and making them worry about multiple different types of money going out at once rather than just one place.
Yeah. It's definitely kind of like when they introduced the whole season pass on top of ESO Plus last year. A lot of people are still confused about that one.
I know, it took me a fucking year to explain to people, just call it seasons instead of chapter. Because it's effectively the same thing, right? It was a year-long piece of content. You got it delivered in different times, but one payment, done. Now they're like, well, do we still do that? No, you don't. You get it for free. Well, what's this then? I have to pay for this. Oh, that's different. That's another thing I've got to explain to you. So they consolidate one system and then confuse another. And for the average YouTube viewer or Twitch viewer, obviously it might make sense because you've got that information readily available in front of you, or you've got people explain it to you. Shows like this, you've got all sorts going on. But if you're just turned up from work, logged on, and it goes, ESO Battle Pass. I already have ESO Plus, don't I? Yes, you do. Here's Battle Pass. What's this? What's the difference? And if they don't deliver that properly when that splash screen comes up, it's gonna confuse the fuck out of people. Because this is the problem that people don't realize. Most people don't watch these shows. Most people don't watch Twitch or YouTube. Most people don't read patch notes. They get home from work and they're all knackered. Like, yeah, I want to play my game. Oh, it's a download. Oh, and they go and make a cup of tea. They come back. Download's done. I can play my game. Yay! And that's it. They don't pay no fucking attention to what's going on. And now they're going to
patch notes. They don't. They're just. In fact, they're probably barely aware of any changes because it never affects how they play to begin with.
And now FOMO's going to hit them because they're like, "What I miss?"
Marketing fail with regard to the whole Battle Pass thing, because most people, like you pointed out, won't read the patch notes, won't listen to shows like this. They log in, they see Battle Pass, they know what that means from Fortnite and from COD. And they're like, I don't want anything to do with that. Yeah.
That's going to scare some people. I mean, they have to be very careful how they release this information and reassure people that it's not as complicated as it appears.
Right.
And don't show this to people. I mean, obviously for this type of stuff, that's fine. But if I know what every single one of these says, right? I saw this show in December. I saw this in December, so I already knew what to expect. And even when I'm watching it and they're explaining it, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on the screen right now. To a complete stranger, that is like, here's a screenshot. This is what's happening. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's a lot, man.
It wasn't a reveal. It was a trail. It's a teaser.
Yep. Now we've got this one, right? Because we're gonna finish this quite soon. Each season is 3 months long, but in the reveal they did say, well, it's any period of time we want it to be. Now, I understand that you've planned for the future to have different periods of time for seasons, but you said that and then you said each season is 3 months long.
And then you walk back on it.
Yeah. And now, arguably, that's only for this year, right? Which is fine, but it doesn't say 3 months long for this year only. And that is going to confuse people even more because regardless of how much we can take in and how much we understand it, not everybody does. They haven't considered that. PvE chat. Here we go. Key feature content system. Each season has a new theme, which is nice, and may contain transparency. The word may. PvE challenges, whatever that means. New story. Okay, fair enough. That is written in stone as to what that would be. That's standby. We've got some more single player content coming. New systems. Okay. New zone. Yep. We know that means a new zone. That's fine. We can look forward to the reveal of whatever that may be. But new system, what the fuck? That's broad. Be a little bit more specific. PvP additions, that would arguably sound like new content types, but it could be a fucking weapon or a set.
Right.
Okay, it's vague. Player requested features. I understand that they listen to feedback, as anybody should, but they have to be very careful how much they act on and how many backseat devs they let exist.
Yes.
Because if you let, very carefully I have to word this, if you let the community control your game, it's no longer your creation, and you're not now delivering to the audience, you're delivering to a select group of people that have decided that that would be good for them.
Yeah, you're delivering to the squeakiest wheels, and that goes
dangerous.
back to the statement that we made earlier. It's like, yes, you give the customer, if you're a smart business person, you give the customer what they want. But if you're a smart business person, you also understand the customer doesn't always know what they want. They think 100% they accurate. Know.
Yeah, and that's the danger.
Think they know, but they don't. Like, I'll give you an example. Talking about the grind in the game, and you want grind, and no, ESO is not remotely grindy. But if you remember the fishing wading kilty thingy, the whatever one everybody had to have, that you had to farm resource nodes in Shadowfen. And
that was funny.
A lot of people were screaming bloody murder about that. I don't want to have to do this. This is too onerous and whatnot, which, obviously they've never played WoW.
Obviously not.
And they never farmed for the Shah mount. But, but regardless, all of that aside, if the people claiming, they don't want, these kinds of, you do want the grind. If they were to make it significantly easier, it's effectively handing it to you as a participation trophy. People think they want that. They think they don't want grind until you just hand them stuff.
Yeah, and then it's not worth anything.
They get it. There's an initial, yay, I've got it, but that dissipates. And it's like, now what? The game becomes boring. You want to grind. You just don't want it to be onerous. You want it to be rewarding. And even if you don't like, for instance, farming resource nodes in Argonianville, that's not an onerous grind.
No.
If they just hand it to you, it loses value.
I think they need to understand the difference.
People think they don't want it. They think they want it to be easier.
Yep.
Until you give it to them easier, and then it's like, well,
what's the point?
The game's boring now.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
I think they're treading a very thin line when it comes to feedback. They're letting people dictate to them what the word feedback means. Feedback is when, like, you respond to something that you've obviously experienced in a way that you see fit, and you describe how you felt about it, right? But when it becomes, you didn't listen to me because you didn't do the thing I said. Right. No, that's not what feedback is. It's not about you deciding what happens next. It's not about you controlling the development that you don't work for.
Right.
It's about you giving your input and them saying, okay, I heard that. It's very, very different to full-on control. And I feel like, unfortunately, there is a really thin line being crossed when it says player requested features, because it sounds like they want the community to make the game for them, which takes away their creative control and lessens the trust you have in a team of being able to present something to you that they've created, because it's not theirs anymore.
And there's examples of what happens when you do that, a lot of them in games. Yep. There are games that used to be great, but the devs, knuckled under perceived demand, gave the people what they think they wanted, and then the game died because it's like, well, either too little, too late, or now the game's not fun anymore. What's the point of doing this? That whole thing. Well, they don't listen to feedback.
So it's Galaxy.
Yes, they do.
Bang on. Perfect example.
What you're upset about is they don't agree with your feedback. That's a different subject.
It is. I can see the chat
when you're in a discussion with somebody. I can listen to you.
Yep.
And okay, I'm hearing you. I listen to it. Let me go ahead and prove that I'm listening to you by reiterating to you what you just said. Is this what you just said? Yes. Okay, thank you for your input. I'm not implementing it because I disagree with it. You're not listening to me. No, I'm not agreeing with you. Separate concept.
Yeah, I'm reading all the chat. Obviously, we're not talking to the chat directly as much as I normally would, because obviously we're having a discussion ourselves, but there is a prompt there that is bang on. Star Wars Galaxies. Star Wars Galaxies back in the day.
That's on my mind.
One of the fucking best MMOs you'll ever see in its time. And they did a thing called New Game Enhancement. We're not going to go over the whole scope of what they did, but basically players were in like up in arms about what they expected it to be. So they changed it for the players. It sucked. It was fucking shit. So they were like, that's not good. And all the players shouted, we want it reverted. We want this back. We want that back. So they gave it to them. What happened? They stopped playing.
Yep.
We want this. Changed it. We don't want that. Change it back. We're not playing.
Yep.
And that was a prime example back in 2002 plus of giving too many people what they claim to want and not understanding what they actually need.
Right. Because people, yes, give the customer what they want, but also understand the customer doesn't always actually know what they want.
Yeah. Everyone's got an imagination. It doesn't make you a game
dev.
Human
nature is there's especially the squeakiest wheels by their just the nature of being squeaky wheels. They're not going to be satisfied. Think about account-wide achievements when we have as a community. You've been there, Xynode. You know this. We've been asking for things like that almost from day one. They give it to us, and then people are like, "Well, I don't want that. Revert it." What the frick?
Yep. Again, it's the bubbles, isn't it? The bubbles. If they. There was a fucking petition made for the best fucking change ever for the Undaunted bubbles.
Yeah.
So imagine that. All the backseat devs explaining to the devs themselves what should and shouldn't happen, writing petitions about something they disagree with, rather than just understanding that's life and that's what they're doing.
Yes.
And not realizing that they were wrong all along. Now imagine if they got that changed because they were right. Imagine that. Where the fuck would we be now? So they have to be able to understand the difference between feedback and actual action taken based on good ideas. And that's the difference. Good ideas and bad ideas exist. It's not calling you a bad person because your idea is shit. Okay? That's just, now we'll delete that. That's why they have a specific development team in all these different companies, because they vet the staff that they want because they can support their game. They don't go running out into the market and say, who's got some ideas? There's a line where a pool of ideas can kind of help encourage more ideas. Imagination can breed ideas quite easily. But there's also the shit idea corner where you just do it because they said so and because you're scared of backlash. And that's dangerous. Like being scared of backlash and doing it anyway, don't do that. There are games that do encourage community influence to some extent. Now, it's not necessarily in the game's mechanics or the game's overall design, but when it comes to cosmetics, in essence. Some are a little further than that, but look at Warframe, for example. A lot of their Warframes are actually created, the visuals and all that kind of stuff, not necessarily code-wise, but the visuals, based on competitions, concept art competitions. They had them in EVE Online, the battle cruisers that were sniper ships, many, many years ago. In the background, they already had the ships designed as to what they were going to do. They didn't understand the visuals yet, so they were like, you know what, we'll make this a competition. That got people involved. That's fine. Stuff like that works perfectly fine. It's a really good idea. And it allows people to feel like they had some sort of help or could support the game by being creative towards it. But
made them feel like they had input. Yeah.
But throwing stuff in their face and going, do this or else I'm going to make a really loud Facebook post or I'm going to make a hate video on YouTube, tell them to fuck off.
Yep.
Simple as that.
And you know, people don't like
hearing
that.
It's not the same as offering ideas. It's with a threat. It's with a threat. And the threats is what they're worried about at the moment. They're trying to keep everybody happy. And I get that premise, but you can't make everybody happy. And as a development company that's been around for that long, you should know that. They've got to not cross that line. That's my only fear. They've got to not cross that line. So while being transparent, they need to somehow explain to the people that are watching that they are receiving and listening to feedback, but that doesn't necessarily translate to you're getting your own way.
Right.
It's great if you get your own way. It is, but that's not the point.
That, you know, that a discussion doesn't mean I talk and you do what I say.
Exactly.
It's an interchange of ideas. And when you have that interchange of ideas, some ideas are going to be listened to, considered, and then rejected because that may be a great idea in context X, but that's not where we're going.
Yep. And that's the thing.
So the answer is no. And you're going to have to deal with it.
You've got a pool of people that may be very adult about it and may just offer ideas and say, this is my feedback, this is what I think you should do, blah, blah, blah. And then just go, okay, thanks, I'm glad I've sent that. And then you've got other people that will threaten to leave if you don't do it. And that is where we are on the internet now. People have got too much accessibility. Game developers were superheroes back when we were kids, right? You'd see their name on the back of the thing. You don't know what they look like. You've never seen them on TV before. They're not on TV. It's just like, that guy, Bob Special Pants made this game. Ooh, it's Bob. And that's it. That's all you know. Now they've got Twitter profiles, and you can directly message them, you suck feet. I saw you.
Yeah.
And like, it's too easy to get
Thanks
personal.
for your input again.
Yep. Thank you for your feedback. It's DMs, exactly. It's too easy to get into the face of people that you never had the privilege of being able to in the past, and it is exploited and abused. And I really do fucking hope that Zost knows where that barrier is, and while taking feedback, don't go too far into the fear zone where they feel like they have to change something that somebody asked for, otherwise X, Y, and Z. And with player requested features, that's broad and vague at the same time, I hope they're not crossing the line in doing so. There are some fucking good ideas out there from my perspective, but it doesn't mean that the devs share the same opinion of that. And their opinion ultimately does count because it is their game and they need to deliver to their target audience, not let the audience target them. It's very different.
And also the big thing is they need to have a vision of where they're going.
Yes.
And the feedback that they agree with and implement, they listen to it all.
Correct.
But the feedback that they agree with and implement is the feedback that correlates with the direction they're already going. It's not just a hodgepodge. Well, I want this. I want a flying pancake mount. I'm going to quit the game if I don't get a flying.
I got a mammoth
pancake
mount. Just saying.
Okay, here's your flying pancake mount. They can't do that. That's
the thing, though, right? I've been chasing for a mammoth mount for fucking years. I have. I just fancied a mammoth mount. I thought it'd be fucking epic. Imagine charging a Cyrodiil with a fucking mammoth. Now you can, because you can use trample. You can use trample with a mammoth, so you got it.
Right.
But if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be sitting there going, well, if you don't put a mammoth in the game, I'm going to fucking quit. And I'm going to tell all my friends that I'm going to quit. And I'm going to tell 70,000 people on fucking YouTube to follow me in this next game instead, because this sucks. But that's where they are, and that's where they've got to be careful. Listening and acting based on the fear of backlash. They're in the same room, but they shouldn't be sitting at the same table.
Yep.
Fucking,
you're in charge for a reason.
That's my worry. The rest of it, it is what it is. We're going to get used to new development. We've got to get used to new systems. I mean, change is inevitable. Shit's going to happen. So I'm not solid against anything that's coming out. Especially since it's fucking not very transparent at all. But the player requested features, I am concerned.
Opaque talk? Yeah.
Slightly muddy, slightly murky transparency. It's like a really cloudy mirror. And you haven't got any windowline or anything for it. You've just got this really dodgy cloth with like a bit of soap on it, and you're trying to smudge it in. You can't quite see it. Let's go. New event. What does that mean? Don't know.
It's new.
It is, but we're going to do this again. They just said that they're going to introduce experimental content that goes underneath this, which is basically PTS on console, if you like. I'm not mad at it. Some of it might be useful. But that is an event zone. Now, I know this and you know this. That says event. That doesn't say event zone. So we can anticipate a new event like we're used to, correct? But for the sake of transparency, and you always have to consider the stupidest person in the room. Not that there's anything wrong with them being stupid, but if you don't explain to the people that doesn't mean event zone, you don't know that. So are we talking about that stuff, or are we talking about another event layered on top of the already too many events we have per year? Yeah, I said it. We have too many. And that is going to grow to an unscalable stage if we keep having new content added, obviously, because you have to celebrate the release of all the new content like a year later and say, here's the things you missed. Got to be very careful if we had too many events. So they need to be shorter and less of them. But again, new event, whatever that's for, probably, I don't know, Gold Roast special or a Necrom special or whatever the fuck it is. I'm not excited for events. And that's just me personally. I'm not against them. I'll still play them, but I'm not excited for events. Because if every day's a sunny day, what's a fucking sunny day? We have too many events, and that is where your I have to log on comes from. Because you feel like you're going to miss your event tickets.
Right.
Good. They're going away, thank fuck. But I don't think we need a new one. You're adding Battle
Unless
Pass
it takes
gameplay.
the place of older ones.
If it takes the place of the older one, fair enough. But if they're going to introduce a battle pass system where we've now got more activities to do, they're going to introduce event zones where we've got more activities to do. They're going to introduce new content where we'll probably have more activities to do. I'll be blunt as I can be. Why the fuck do I want a new event? I don't. You might. I don't. I just seen too fucking many of them. Witches Festival, banging. Jester's Festival, also banging.
I'd be perfectly
Jubilee,
happy if
brilliant,
they kept the existing event.
White Strikes, sure, and Undaunted, and maybe even New Life. That's 6. That's fucking 6. Like, what the shit? Is it 6 or 5? I lost count. No, that is 6. You got 12 months of the year. 6 months of them are taken up with events already, not including the 10 years worth of content that we keep celebrating in shit bits throughout the year. I can't. There's too many, man.
I'd be perfectly happy if they didn't add events, they just revamped them. Like what they did, a couple years back now, I think, with the Halloween one, the Witches Festival, where they started to add other things. Like they added Skippy Doodle that you went into the portal
that was
to,
cool.
Kick him in his cloaca.
Yeah.
Then they added the much bigger Skippy Doodle on
Some people
top
love
of
them.
it.
I fucking hate them.
That's a very, very fun encounter. It's very, very fun to me. It's challenging, and it's even challenging to solo.
What, the Scarecrow dude?
It. Imagine adding that to like New Life. Like maybe so it could even be something goofy, like in New Life Festival. All of a sudden, there's this world boss that comes up that's a big Frosty the Snowman, and or something.
I like events that coincide with world events, like real world events,
right?
Because it enforces the theme of that particular time of the year.
Right.
Okay, so you got Halloween, Witches Festival. You have April Fool's Day. You've got the Jester's Festival.
Jester.
New Life, Christmas, etc., etc. Perfect. Summer, add something there, but we got too fucking many.
That used to be Mid-Year Mayhem.
Used to be Mid-Year Mayhem, but now it's the beginning of the middle of the year Mayhem, which they changed to White Strike, so it's less confusing, which is even more confusing because everyone is sitting there like, who the fuck is White Strike? It's just, it's inconsistent. Some people saying they really love events. I'm sure some people do. They're not for me, but I do think we've got too many. Experimental content is the one thing that they've been focusing on recently when it comes to the Vengeance campaign, which is quite successful so far. So that was a good move, but they have to make sure that they're not turning, and this is obviously going to be a pain point for other people as well. You have to make sure they're not turning the entire fucking game back into beta, basically. I don't want to do the trend thing that people keep misvoicing, but they are at risk of having too much experimental content and not enough emphasis on what's already there. Thank you for the follow. So the overland changing is good. Hopefully that's just one and done, right? It's in, it's a thing, it's staying, not something that's being tested. Because I do feel like we're approaching a potential live PTS on all servers, and they have to be again very careful not to do that too much. I'm open to experimental content to allow us to kind of see some of the stuff they're working on, but I understand overselling that would give them a bigger pool of information and data, but also overselling it would lessen the impact of what other stuff is already there, or what other stuff is coming, or what other stuff you should be playing. See what I mean?
Yep.
It's. I understand it's optional intent, but it might be oversold alongside stuff that wasn't, like the Group Finder. That should have been sold quite heavily, because that is a very, very useful tool. Been really successful over Christmas, actually, because, surprise, more people are at home. But that kind of stuff needs to be up there to get people involved in playing together and doing new stuff and all the rest of it. And they
need to understand that, for instance, that one
groups.
It's for more than just a Trials Finder. There's all kinds of categories.
Including experimental content. Because they could develop a group for that. But if they don't know the tools are there and they only see the experimental stuff, then they're going to get kind of confused with what to do. Not necessarily overwhelmed, but, well, I know this is new, and I know this is new, and now you've got that tunnel vision, you can't see anything else. So it's a good idea, and it has been successful so far, but they have to be careful not to do too much of it. It's got to be isolated, like heavily isolated in one space.
And that's why I say I'm cautiously excited and cautiously optimistic. It's all going to depend on the implementation. It's going to depend on how they actually do it.
Cautious is the word, to be fair. That's correct. I'm not necessarily overly negative about it. I'm not necessarily overly positive about it. I look forward to it regardless, because obviously I create content for this for now 10 years. I'm going to continue doing this, so I need to understand what the fuck is going on and where, so other people can understand it as well. But I am very cautious about being blinded by one thing and not seeing the other. And I want to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing and not making silly mistakes too soon.
Yes.
Because it is a switch of development. It is a switch of teams, although some of the older ones are there. And they've got some very big shoes to fill. And it looks like they're trying to do that, but they have to be very careful not to accidentally pop a Christmas light bulb in 7 million lines of code and not know where the fucking fuse bulb is. It's tricky. Maybe it feels like there's too many things at once versus what we're used to. But if it lands all at the same time because they're all part of the same system, maybe it won't be so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was an info dump. I mean, it was. I hesitate to say info dump because it really wasn't a whole bunch of information. There was just a, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It was title dumping. It was like, here's the title for this addition to the game, and that's it.
It was a teaser, which I'm fine with. For what they had said overall, except obviously for some of the the language stuff that I'm looking at, I go, I hope it's just that they're using buzzwords. And,
I feel like that's the case.
Isn't indicative of where they're actually going. But overall, it's like okay. Especially given how 2025 panned out. 2025 was, and they
not good.
It was a stumble.
It was not good. There was some interesting stuff.
2026 is the real transition year. They're going somewhere, and as long as it's implemented, we'll see. Basically, we'll see how it's.
Tony Silver,
we'll
shout
see
out.
how it's implemented.
It's 2025 was an ambitious change and an addition to the game as well. I mean, subclassing and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of exciting stuff that happened, but their delivery was wrong.
Yes.
And no trailer, no major trailer. The original reveal was not really a reveal at all because they didn't tell us about the actual content we were getting until the middle of the year.
It again was a teaser.
It was a teaser. It wasn't really a reveal that we're used to. There was no dramatic trailer, polish, all this kind of stuff. There wasn't all that, hey guys, it's January, check this shit out, and then dump it.
Right.
Like snap the table in half, dump it there. Thank you very much. I have a beer, by the way. There was none of that. There wasn't none of that quick helicopter swings, slap downs, cop this. There was none of that. It is just, hey, we're going to have a talk. I understand there's a place for that, and that is usually after the reveal. Do you see what I mean? There was no oomph behind it. There was just loads and loads of cards, which Gina and Jess, poor sods, looked like they were struggling with. They had a lot of paper. And
they did.
I just thought, fucking hell. I saw that when it first started. I was like, oh dear. This is gonna be long. I mean, the delayed reveal, is that what we call it? They know and we know. I mean, it's not like we're saying anything they don't already consider. It's a very difficult ship to try and steer when you can't see the fucking icebergs.
Well, that's fine because now we're gonna have naval combat, so you could just shoot the icebergs. It'll be fine.
I bloody hope so. You're making words words mean other things. Yeah, they are making words mean other things. That's also true. The delivery and the wording had to be very carefully vetted by them before they obviously did that. And I do feel like other people are pulling the puppet strings, which wouldn't normally happen anyway. But the catering for certain types of people that use specific terms only versus addressing the overall community, which is broad as fuck and quite off the scale for most people's mentalities, they have to be careful. Because it doesn't feel like they were speaking to people. And last year it did a little bit, I'll be honest. When they said, you belong, that was hard hitting.
That was epic.
That was very well done. They had the advert for the TV, which was late, I know, instead of a trailer. So, okay, they can have that. And they had the you belong. So that was very personal. You've got people home sitting there by themselves. They don't speak to anyone all fucking week. They've just put their heating on. They got their blanket up. They're about to log into ESO and it says you belong. They feel fucking special right now. That's good. Well done. Then they changed it halfway through the year to you belong here, which was more instructions. So it was like, that's where you have to go. There. Timmy fucker, and poking him in the fucking forehead. It's like, make it make sense, keep it consistent.
I do belong. No,
people like consistency.
Oh, I thought you just meant that in a general sense. Well, darn.
Yeah. People like consistency, and if they feel like they're, we'll call it being listened to, because the whole you belong thing really worked. It was a good idea. And then you change it, they feel like you didn't really mean that in the first place. Right. And then when they start using words like fucking viable and class identity and all the rest of it, and not using it in its proper sense, that then shifts people off again even further, and it makes them feel like they're not really in control of the thing that they are in control of, which is their character and their world, basically. The inclusivity was mentioned, but it wasn't applied.
Right.
And the fucking... the fortress. The wall. When I heard about it initially, because I watched the show before it went live,
right,
I thought, this is fucking epic. This is the greatest thing since Kirafam in
that was
EverQuest.
kind of a stumble.
Right? I was like, are we really doing this? We can play anything we want. We can mix all our classes up. And now we're going to smash a wall down as a one-off thing. As a race against all the servers. Stay with me here. Who won? And what's their prize?
Yeah.
The word competition was used, so you tell me.
First. Yeah.
Yep. It broke.
I don't know who won.
We're all winners. Oh, the winners were our friends you had along all the time. Look at that. Mike is a winner. He's not a Xynode Gaming simp. He's a winner. That's a mug that you can get from the merch site. Oh, dude. I understand that they had issues that they didn't see coming, right? But it should have just ended, right? Just give up. It's done. Obviously, this is broken. Sorry, everyone. Have loads of fucking crowns. But the we're going to bring this back next year. Of course you are. You don't put that much work into developing something that cool, because it was when it worked, and then just dump it. But you told us all year. I liked it once
we were through the wall and we were going, attacking the fortress. That was pretty dadgum cool.
It was, except for the first stream where I turned up and it was fucking empty.
Dragged way out.
But then the whole, this is a one-time thing. This is a one-time thing. One-time thing. It's a competition. It's a competition. Okay. Well, we were first. Yeah, nobody cares. What did we win? Nothing. It's a one-time thing yet? No, we're bringing it back next year so you can go in there again. What the fuck? I'm making fun of it, but it's also true.
This time, and it'll be one time the next time as well.
Yeah, it's like when you've got the two parents, right? One is really, really strict, and the other one you could probably get away with. And the one you could get away with tells you off, like, don't do that. If you do that, you're in trouble. Next time. The next time. All right. But the next time, and it just goes on and fucking on and on and on. It's just moving the fucking goalposts. I'm going to admit the Fortress, when it did work, was very, very cool. And I am looking forward to seeing it again. But say it, mean it, and actually apply it. If you're going to give us something, a one-off thing, don't give it back.
Yep.
Because
otherwise it's not.
No one believes you. No one believes you anymore.
And that robs it of its relevance. That robs it of the impetus. That robs it of the sense of I was there.
Exactly. That's what the whole Kirafam thing is, what I was talking about earlier, I mentioned with EverQuest. The dragon that roamed through and tried to kill absolutely fucking everything in the game. There's a story behind that, won't go into it. I put an article on the website about it a while back. But basically that was do you remember that time? Do you remember that one thing? And that's what the wall was supposed to be. And it's not now. It's the one thing that no one wants to look up anymore because it didn't go too well. And we're getting some of it back anyway, so it doesn't have its historical kind of...
It's not unique.
No, it's not. It doesn't have any history behind it now, apart from it broke. Because if you're going to see it again and again and again and again anyway, who fucking cares?
And that you nailed it right there. It has no history except what are people going to remember? It broke.
Exactly.
That's what they're going to remember.
Yep. And the grind on it was... Nope. Red Dead, thank you for the sub. Much appreciated. I'm not against it taking 6 months to do, right? If it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, it's going to get here and then disappear and never see it again. Take as long as it fucking needs. But I made a character. Now, this is a personal issue, but so other people don't need to worry about this. They didn't experience it. Maybe they did. I made a character that was supposed to be leveled up on the wall. That was his role-play story. He was going to go there and beat up Daedra and get XP and level up. They nuked the XP. You couldn't level up on them because they were worried about people power leveling. Yet they keep zombies and dolmens.
I was about to say they're worried about people power leveling, yet Craglorn was nerfed to oblivion. And now
what is wrong?
Power level in Craglorn, in freaking Craglorn.
Imagine this event.
Remember,
right?
Craglorn from back in the day makes your soul die within you.
Yes, it does. But imagine, right? There's a once in a lifetime event that you will be able to say, I was there. I leveled up my character there. It is Wall Breaker Born or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's how I leveled. You can't have that story. Because two reasons. One, you can't get no XP, and two, they're bringing it back. So you can say, I was there twice. Still didn't get anything.
Yeah.
I hope they do adapt it. I really do. I hope that when that actually comes back in, whenever that happens, that they involve the little camp there with more dailies that actually give you decent rewards rather than a pool of stuff that you don't want.
And make it varied, because it did get to be quite onerous when it's all the same thing over and over and over again for however many months that it was.
Yeah.
Throw in other stuff. Throw in some random things. Like every so often, in one of the camps, this really epic boss spawns or something, instead of it just being...
Yeah, they took it away because it broke.
Yeah.
Jizzor was supposed to fucking spawn in the camps, and he broke, so they got rid of it. He was invisible. So phase 2, we were looking forward to that in phase 2. We're like, oh, new boss, big boss, let's get him. And then, nah, we took him out. Why? Because he broke. So you're not going to fix it. I know it's not as easy as switching on a light bulb, but at that point in time, it was crucial that your best guys fix that nice and quick in this once-in-a-lifetime event. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to say that they were on the right track with their giant bosses, okay? That was fucking epic, and I do hope they extend on that. Obviously, that's a first-time version of that, if you like, so I don't doubt that development time is going to be using the future stuff for bigger stuff, maybe even overland stuff, using the old things as well, because it would be a waste if not. Mm-hmm. But they just needed to make it fucking work. I think I ever saw the boss. I saw the boss. There's a video about it. I made a funny and then didn't like it very much. But you have to laugh about it. There's no point being all toxic and going, this game's fucking shit. It's not shit. It's far from shit. It's just that when shit goes wrong, we can't pretend it didn't happen. Because it did. And even on stream, I had a whole stream of 2 hours of me running around in circles going, fuck it, it's not working.
Yeah.
The first day of the war, I was like, yeah, it's fucking
going,
empty.
Oh boy.
I had to keep a straight face in front of a whole audience going, no, everything's fine, it's fine. And I got to the point, it's like, no, it's fucked. It's fucked. Just
and then you hear the narrator in the background, but it was not fine.
Yep. Like, there's a portal here, but it's invisible. There's a boss there, but it's gone. You can finish your quest? No. Why don't you try spinning upside down, then duck in that corner 3 times and press X while standing on your face? Like, it doesn't work. It's not a Mega Drive, and they don't have an X. It was entertaining. We can call it that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hope that's what people take from it. I mean, it is fucking tragic that it broke so badly. But at the same time, I hope people can remember the funny side of it, because that would be far better than the obvious Facebook heroes shouting, this game's shit. Because shit happens. It just happened to us. Right. Oh, dear. I mean, it's not quite as funny as running on top of your horse.
No, which I wish they didn't edit that out. That was just,
Me too.
That was a bug that was just simply funny.
The funny one was where you used to be able to slide around on your ass on the chair, but you couldn't see it. They could. So you had to hold the emote button and move the analog stick at the same time on PlayStation, and you'd slide around.
Remember the goofy pizza mount that was originally invisible?
The invisible mount? Yeah, I want my money. I want my money back. Why?
I wish they wouldn't have changed it.
Well, that was the crazy part about listening to the wrong
floating
people.
in the air going, yeah, floating in the air.
Yeah, because people were shouting about how they wanted their money back because it wasn't worth it, that their mount didn't work.
Oh,
like,
people want their
the
money
mount was
back
a bonus. You
because
bought the content. You've got it. Like, play the content, they'll fix the mount. Bring back the invisible mount. That was funny as fuck. I saw 4 people on one mount. They managed to manipulate it in a way that 4 people looked like they were standing on the same one. That was fucking hilarious. And in fact, I mean, the audience can agree or disagree. It's up to them. I think the invisible mount looked better than the actual mount.
Oh, I very much agree with that one.
Just saying. I didn't like the look of it. I've got it, but I didn't like the look of it.
Yeah, the real mount looks like
it's they turn it off again.
You would farm, penicillin from. So it's just
yeah, it did. So running a horse, yes, exactly. See, it's like turn it off. I don't want it. I was better running around invisible, because you could do it in Cyrodiil. You just run, and then someone just. I always run.
And that
like
was
this.
honestly.
Where's your horse? It's here.
Imagine if they didn't fix it, and there was an invisible mount, and you did that with trample.
Oh, that would be great. You just see the hoofs, and that's it.
Somebody gets knocked down, and what the?
You're looking at the floor. What the fuck was that?
It's the invisible mount.
I keep craving pepperoni pizza. That's a funny looking mount. Right, let's finish this up. We've got a couple more on here. We've got Tamriel Times, which we've already gone over. That's the Battle Pass system where you unlock stuff and get shiny things. Golden Pursuits, which by the looks of it aren't actually going away and sliding into Battle Pass, which I do think they will eventually, but they're still existing. So people that want the free rewards from doing tasks. Gold Coast Bazaar. This is the one I touched on at the very beginning. And this is where your event tickets are being taken away and they're introducing these bars instead, which are uncapped. My voice is going. There is no cap to how many you can get. The higher your battle pass, the more you'll unlock, obviously. But you'll be able to access new stuff and old stuff from previous times that were limited. This is the bit I don't like. I like the idea of the bazaar. I like that. Go on, you go ahead. I've been talking enough.
No. Again, it goes back to kind of like the whole thing of you had to be there. Well, there's certain, items that if it's something, I don't know. I am going to have to see how it's implemented. That we keep cycling on that one, but it's like, are we going to be able to get the beta monkey?
I hope
even
not,
though
because
we weren't there.
We're crossing the line, and it's society that's at fault with this one. Social media does this really, really fucking well. But there's so much emphasis on FOMO that there's not enough tough shit.
FOMO in and of itself,
I don't care if I join a game and I miss
though.
Something. Because here's the thing.
FOMO in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's when it becomes excessive and onerous that
yes, it is
bad, kind of like grind. But FOMO in and of itself is an incentive.
If I join Destiny right now,
correctly, it's an incentive. You want to be part of this because it's not going to happen
then you'll
again.
get it.
And you want to say, I was there. There will be other things like that in the future, but this thing
yes, it does.
is a one and done. You either there or you weren't. That's not a bad thing.
Tony's
that is not a
on
bad
something
thing.
there, actually.
For those of us who, like me, who was not there during the beta, we don't have the beta monkey. I'm not salty. I wasn't there. Plus, I have no desire to have a monkey. But I mean, FOMO in and of itself is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It gives you that drive to try and get something while you've got the time to do so as well, instead of just being bored, basically. But Tony touched on something there as well. Warframe's a good example of that. They had arcane helmets for certain frames, like 6 of them, way back in the day, right? They were basically the same frame, but a different helmet with its own special attributes to it that would only apply to that one frame. Eventually, they got rid of that. So, if you've got one, which I do, I have most of them, in fact, all of them, you can go, I've got that from the beginning. That stuff is fine. I don't see that as a problem. Not just because I've got it, but if I join another game like Destiny, for example, and someone runs past me with this mega gold fucking minigun, I'm like, oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, I got it in 2015 or whatever. Oh, nice. Congratulations. I can't get it. I wasn't there. It's tough shit. I don't mind someone saying tough shit, you weren't there, because that's the point of it. And I feel like taking that balance away, there's no good way to say it. You're making spoiled brats.
Yes.
That's what you're doing. I want it. Okay, you can have it then. No, some things you can't have. Some things you can't. And I don't necessarily dismiss the fact that they're allowing people to get stuff, but I do think they're pushing too far about the stuff that they weren't there for. And there's stuff that I wasn't there for. There's stuff that I didn't fucking get. There's loads of event stuff I missed out on. There's tough shit.
You can have too much quality of life, and it robs the game of the stakes. It robs the game of the impetus, the reason, and therefore of the reward. The sense of accomplishment. Same thing with the FOMO. FOMO in and of itself is not a bad thing.
No.
If it's handled correctly and it's not onerous. That incidentally is how most battle passes work. You have a FOMO that's tied with it. That's why you want it, so you can get the thing while it's still available, whatever the thing happens to be. That's not a bad thing.
What gaslight? Dear. Not you, chat. It's not a bad thing. It's just, the problem is it's hard to scale. When you start giving people stuff that they weren't there for, then every single time there's something that they never were there for, they expect to have it. And you can't scale that for 1 or 2 or 10 items. And eventually you'll be tied into a situation where if something is for a limited time only, you are stuck now having to make sure that they get it later no matter what. And that denies exclusivity and the point of limited. That encourages you to play at that certain period of time. That encourages that hype for that event and all that kind of stuff. The point of an event is to be there at the event. I mean, I don't know if you want to look up the word event as a definition,
here's the
but
reality.
it doesn't mean get it anyway.
Scarcity generates value. That's how our monetary system works. That's how, rewards work. Scarcity generates value, and these, you can only get them if you're involved in this one-time thing, is the very definition of that.
So if I don't go to a concert that's happening right now, do I get to have them bring me their own personal concert when I feel like it? Because I've got the money for the ticket. As extreme as that may sound, it's the same fucking balance, isn't it? It's, well, I wasn't there, but I've got the money for it, so I should still have it anyway. No, it's gone. It's gone.
I wasn't there for Super Bowl 10. Can you guys all come back?
Do it again.
I know you're old now, but can you guys come back and play it in my backyard? Okay, thanks.
Now, when you've had it once, now you're entitled to it every single time. Entitlement is in the chat, actually. That's the correct word. It's fucking crazy. They are getting rid of tickets, I've thank fuck. I don't agree with the tickets, and a good thing they're gone, so I can say that anyway, but I don't agree with the tickets because they decided to introduce them to the Crown Store, which I know gives people the privilege, if they have the funds to do so, to buy the event tickets if they weren't there during that time. However, you were capped for unlocking them, but you were able to just buy, spend, and no one playing could ever catch that pace. They couldn't match it. So having a cap on it in the first place was fucking dumb. I think it's too late now because the events are changing, but they should have made it so that if you go into a battleground and get one event ticket, go in again and get one event ticket, go in again and get one, and keep being able to spam them versus somebody else being able to spam by them. That would have made that a level playing field, but that was always fucked. The new system, better, but I still don't think you should bring back old stuff. I know they've been doing it for ages anyway with older events, and there's a way that they can line that up to make it only during the event period. All right, fair enough. But if you give everyone everything that they want there to get at the time, you're creating a rod for your own back. They update the name, Entitled Scrolls. Yeah, something like that. It's a difficult balance for them to try and pretend to approach it. But the only way that I would see that making sense is, again, if they introduce event stuff during the event revival, if you like, for the year after. If they are there during the Witches Festival, you get Witches Festival specific stuff. But I don't believe that Beta Monkey and PC only Jaguars and all that stuff should ever have hit the Crown Store, or ever should. Nope. I don't think the Frost mount that was originally on PC, that was very, very limited at the start, should have been introduced to the game. I don't think things that are limited time only should be available as much as they are. I think it spits in the face of those that were there and put in the time for it.
It removes value.
Yeah. All you should learn from it is, oh, they have limited stuff. When the next one comes up, I'll make sure I do it.
Bingo! Because again, it generates value. That generates excitement, because it's like, oh, I know that there are things you can only get within a specific window. I missed those, but one's coming up. I'm gonna make sure that I'm there for that.
It's fashion scrolls as well.
It removes it.
It's fashion scrolls. Like, you've mentioned the Beta Monkey multiple times, and that's the thing. If you're running around with that fucking chimp, and someone goes, "Where'd you get that from?" "Oh, it's in beta." "Oh, that's cool." Right. That's you said this earlier. That's your flex. If everyone can get it now, even though it was exclusive 10 years ago, there's no flex left. There's no ESO fashion scrolls, because what have you got to show off about? Because everyone can get it, and you're right, no value. So again, when it comes to the bazaar, they have to be very careful with that line to make sure that they don't add too much in the way of limited items when it comes to past stuff, which is their intention, but too much, because some of it really does make a difference to people if they were there for it. That's their reward for being there. You get to take your own pictures when you go on holiday. They're taking yours and saying they were there.
Yep.
It's no good. But anyway, in-game events, I do believe there are too many of, and I hope they do thin them out. If they don't thin them out as far as how many we have, I at least would expect them to thin them out in terms of how long they run for. Because every single time an event is over, another one lands almost instantly, and there is no gap in between for players to relax. Some people, myself included, like to sit in Gratwood and just do this. Nice tree. And that's it. You just want to chill out in a different world. But when it's go, 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 event, 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 it's too fast paced, and you feel like it's a chore, and you don't feel like you are in control of your own story in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Tricky one.
And again, it's that goes back to, you know, to the whole value thing. When there's always an event, then no event's an event.
Bingo. Exactly. 100%. I know what they tried to do. They tried to celebrate the chapters and stuff, but I don't think they saw the sheer scale of it early on, and they got stuck in a consistency loop where they felt they had to keep bringing up a new event each year, and then we ran out of months.
Which they don't.
No, we ran out of months.
They don't. It's okay for an event, again, also to be a one-time or a very limited number of times things.
You catch up with inventory management. Yeah, 100%. And that's also a thing. You spend so much time doing what you need to do that you don't get enough time doing what you want. And
yeah, I didn't
in
even
a game
bother
that is
with
that
New Life
broad, you should.
This last time. I didn't bother. And New Life used to be one of my favorite events.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do any New Life at all. Not because I don't like it, but because and Tony's put this in the chat already, I'm fucking burnt out. I do this for a living. I teach mechanics, I make builds, I'm constantly updating the website, which is a huge endeavor to do right now. And when it comes to actual gameplay and being able to demonstrate it, I don't want to be tied into every single day I must do this event. I'd like to have a gap in between. And when it came to Witches Festival, and then Undaunted, and then New Life, and all the rest of it staggering up towards Christmas, there wasn't much of a Christmas break alongside the wall as well. And it just felt like you're logging on to do what you're told and not what you want. So events are not negative, but they are in too much of an abundance and too close together. And they always have been. The Indrix was a prime example of that. You're chasing a Pokemon and morphing the bloody thing, and then once you finish, you have to go around and do another and another and another and another. And that was real fucking FOMO, but that was way too close together. They tried something, it was experimental, they kept it for a long time, and I was fucking knackered by the end of it. And they just need to pace it differently and cut it down. Give people more time to fucking breathe, especially with announcements like this that are so loaded with backflips and wording that does or doesn't make sense, and lots of different things that they intend you to kind of half understand but not get enough information for. You spend a lot of time either doing stuff that you feel like you have to do, or you spend more time trying to comprehend what the fuck is happening next while worrying about what you have to do, and you feel like your time is gone and it's gone.
Yep.
So, I mean, the biggest thing that I'm worried about is what people take from it in terms of what should they do. And that takes away from your own plan of just getting involved. Delivery is what I'm going to say. Delivery is key. And I feel like they delivered it, for want of a better term, rushed.
A little bit.
Yeah. We need a trailer, people. We need a fucking trailer. As simple as that. Trailer would make everything better. We said it earlier. Imagine if the reveal, not to say it was bad, but imagine if the reveal opened with guess what's coming, and then they just big boom, loads of music, fucking great 2-minute trailer, and then everyone's excited.
That would have generated so much hype.
Straight over to the office, and then they start talking. This would be less picked apart if it was more visually appealing. And it's something as simple as that. I know it's very, very expensive to create something like that, but that is where the money should be when it comes to stuff like this, because people for years and years and years have waited for that January reveal. January reveal. Oh, what are they doing next year? January reveal. Hi, guys. Yeah, hi. Not to take anything away from the devs. They obviously put a lot of work into it, but I do feel like that impact is gone.
I can't argue.
No. In the chat, favorite trailer. Favorite trailer. Elsewhere, by the way. This will be interesting. 10-4 regulation office notes, indeed. Elsewhere? Gotta be, hasn't it? Bards, shut up, mate. Agree. Elsewhere was fantastic. They had two, actually. They had one major trailer and then kind of a sub-trailer for, Northern and Southern Elsewhere. High Isle? That's pretty good. Elsewhere because it was an epic Bard chat, Breton Chad. Why the fucking invite him? Necrom Party was banging. They did a lot of work for that. In fact, all the events they did lots for. But I feel like they thinned it out a little bit. I'm not mad at loads and loads of stuff changing. I'm not mad at loads and loads of stuff coming. I just wish they would word it a little better and let us know a little bit more about what they're trying to achieve, with a little bit more detail. Because checklists are only useful if you know what each of the checkpoints mean. You can't tick a box if you don't know what's in it. 100% elsewhere. Love the zone and Necro. Necro is banging. DJ's timed out. Imagine that. Right. Do we have anything else to go over? I don't think so. Quick overview of this. What do you like about it? What do you hate about it? In as quick way as possible. Chat can do the same.
As quickly as possible. What I like about it is that there's direction. It's probably scattershot, but they're moving something. They're moving somewhere. They're setting up goalposts. I very much like the possibility of the event zone. I'm excited to see how they're going to implement it. The overland. So the content stuff is kind of what I'm most excited about if it's implemented well. That's going to be the big one.
I like the fact that they have, even though it might be relatively vague at the moment because anything can happen, and they have underlined that as well. I do like the fact that they've been slightly, based on their previous live stream before this, transparent about how long it takes to update a class, and that they've got a relatively straightforward roadmap as to where each one is going to land. Obviously, we haven't got next year's yet, but if there are 4 quarters, we might get 4 updates, which we'll do 2 in 2 years, which does give us an answer as to how long. Because it's no good saying, well, that's not good enough. Well, you don't fucking work here, shut up. But
right.
But letting us know, like, honestly, this will take us this long, that is the sort of stuff we need. So
that's
vaguely
actual transparency.
It is. That is actual transparency. You're right.
Like, for instance, when they did the whole, here's what we learned from Vengeance campaign, and they listed it out. This is what we learned. That's transparency.
Yeah. So I think that they have got 2 sides to a very, very edgy coin, and that is, some is very transparent, and that's good, and some of it claims to be transparent and is not. So as soon as those 2 have a conversation with each other and meet each other in the middle, we'll be good. People, let me know what you think in the comments section, actually, on today's article. So if you put website in the chat, go to the ESO or the gaming news section. It's the most recent article. Comment sections are now open as of last month. They haven't been for 7 years, but now they are. Don't be a dick, otherwise I'll ban you. But you can say openly what you think as long as you're not insulting anyone. People, bit and cake in the chat, and a shout out to Mikemacon. Thank you very much indeed for joining. And of course, if you're not following on socials, put socials in the chat and make sure you follow on YouTube and Twitch as well. We are going to do a raid, obviously. The microphone might go over the top of the bit at the end. I don't know if it's going to work out or not because I've got to mute Discord. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.